What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details.
Woohoo!
Woo! This week, we're back, baby. Back from the heaven, you could say. Heaven or hell. The heaven side hell that was talking about cats. Not that I'm sure it won't come up every week for the next year, but we're back to movies that are just kind of movies.
Movies that follow some kind of narrative structure.
Yeah, some kind of is it's pretty some kind of here. Although I'd say this is as straightforward as the three of these are probably going to get. Because this week we are talking about Michael Bay's 1995's The Bad Boys. No, it's just called Bad Boys.
In fact, like The Bad Boys. We're The Bad Boys.
Why isn't the new one called The Bad Boys? We'll get to it. Obviously, the new one should be something different, and then the fourth one should be Dad Boys for Life. Not Dad Boys, excuse me.
Dad Boys.
I like Dad
Boys.
Boys.
Yeah.
I would watch a movie called Dad Boys.
And they're all pretty much already dads. There's no way a certain character who we'll name later isn't already a dad. And then the other guy is a dad. So, yeah, they'll have to raise their kid. They'll do a Shaft or whatever bullshit. I don't know. But the Hollywood naming convention, for now at least, dictates that when it's been more than 5 years, the next one has to be called The, inexplicably. Or not The. You have to take the out. Doesn't matter. How are you guys doing this fine? We're recording this January the 7th, 2020. We're back to 2020.
We're here in a new decade.
Yeah. How's it so far for you guys? Jellicle?
Jellicle. Yeah, it's pretty jellicle. I'll give this decade a jellicle so far.
You know, I always struggle a little bit at the start of every new decade when, you know, you have to change your name, move to a new city, get a new job, just completely change your life totally and utterly, as we all have to do at the start of every decade. It's been a bit of a struggle for me, but I think I'm starting to adjust to life here in Madison, Wisconsin.
Is Diggins a criminal?
I think so. Well, he's broken every human law. However,
oh my God,
never been caught.
I know. I often defy the law of gravity, and I've been told I have a fair share of suavity.
That's right. Is that the correct pronunciation? Because I was having a lot of trouble with this one too, just looking it up, because I don't think it might not even be a word.
Suavity is definitely not a word.
Well, but suave is a word, right? And I assume that's what they're going for, is like suavity. And I imagine that's how that would be pronounced. But at least in I think in my notes, it is currently listed as like suavity. Oh, yeah, might be it. They might have gotten it. Well then, that's all things from Cats. Listen, I'm sure most of you that are listening to this have listened to our Cats episode. Gotten a lot of messages from you guys about going to see Cats. For instance, Ashwin1000 on Twitter said that they literally watch Cats for two reasons. One, for the pure experience of seeing it, and two, to have more context when I listen to @nitpickingpod when we rip into it. And then a picture of what really seems like an empty cinema. Someone else tweeted to us, and I cannot find it. Was it the Toasted Zendalorian said this was the most passionate he's ever heard any podcast, or this podcast ever, possibly any podcast. So
wow,
a lot of good reaction from the Cats podcast, and
that's high praise.
It's one of our most listened to so far in the first couple of days, without a doubt. But it's a terrific end of the year, and it's going to get even better because we're going to talk about Bad Boys. This is a movie that came out, 25 years ago. We're all cool with that, right? That's
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, well, that's, yeah. I'm going to just take a nice big drink. I was kind of hoping the straw would make that gurgling sound, but it didn't. Before we talk about Bad Boys, I have to talk real quick some Rensonas. We got more Rensonas. I imagine this will be the last week we will mention the Rensonas.
It won't. It won't be.
Diggins, can you, since you came up with the idea, can you describe what a Rensona is and kind of where that came from?
Why, certainly. A Rensona is, as you know, the Knights of Ren were finally introduced in Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, and we got to see that they were the 6 people in the galaxy who are less cool than Kylo Ren. So we came up with the concept of creating your Rensona, which is creating just the most edgelord, like dark, original character you can, with some weird weapon that doesn't make any sense, and the thing they do to show off how edgy they are. And that's your member of the Knights of Ren, your Rensona.
There you go. So last week and the week before, the week prior, we also talked about some of them that people had tweeted to us, to myself, to the show specifically. Any of those, we're trying to kind of catch them all as they show up. Again, if they slip through the cracks, very sorry. But I'm going to go through a couple of the new ones. So in order of the way that I'm scrolling as of right now, we've got the last Spookbender. My hashtag Rensona is Klevin. Kevin Levin, Ben 10's rival. I have the same powers. I can absorb the element I'm touching by using the Force and turn my body into it. Also, my full name is Klevin Jin, so I am Qui-Gon Jinn's lost grandson turned to the dark side. Also, after 30 years after I'm killed, I come back for absolutely no reason. Very good. We have Dean Lebiter on Twitter is Qui Prel. My weapon is a complete Star Wars visual dictionary, and my power is summoning the ghosts of one-off Star Wars villains like Jango Fett or General Grievous to fight for me. There's enough of them that I shouldn't have to run out for a while. Hashtag Rensonas. We got Alex, Seasons, Fleetings, Chaz, the only knight who got there through nepotism. My force power is to influence people to let me take credit for others' hard work killing dudes off screen as I fail my way up towards management while my colleagues squander in the working class. Hashtag Rensona. Very good. We've got Your Daughter Calls Me Baka on Twitter. My Rensona is Shalef. He uses an ocarina to blow out exploding bubbles with the Force. Alternatively, when he's out of Force bubble fluid, not to be confused with regular bubble fluid, he plays Legend of Zelda songs to Force choke his enemies. Only a few more. Laurie SS. We still doing this? My legit Rensona from when I was 8 to 10 or 12 years old was a bounty hunter specializing in killing Jedi. He had purple Mandalorian armor and lightsabers that came out of his robotic forearms. He used them kind of like police nightsticks crossed with the Halo energy swords. So Laurie is years ahead of us in terms of being a Rensona. And ahead of everybody in the whole movie, because they didn't really have, they barely had any things either. Okay, here we go. Alex and Dehezi. My hashtag Rensona is Crewjar. I lost both my hands and my fingers are now tiny lightsabers. I never actually use them, but I show them off and tell people how cool it would be if I did. Crashy McSplody, my Rensona, has a whip with small lightsaber spikes on it, but it's poorly made and the spikes leak plasma everywhere. He's not good at using a whip, so he just flings it around and hopes the leaks kill people. Let's say three.
There is a lightsaber whip was wielded by Kit Fisto in the EU.
That's true. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. And it's still great. I liked Kit Fisto. He had a cool outfit, like cool look, not outfit. I mean, he just wore like a bathing suit, right, or something. Or wait, which one am I thinking of?
You're on the right track. He was the underwater guy.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I forget if we talked about Dr. Divorce. His Rensona was Lumpy the Wookiee. Lumpy was Chewbacca's son, but was turned evil by a Snoke. He kills you by showing you kinky VR porn. Then we got and then you have
brutal. No choice but to jack off in the living room.
Yes, that's the excuse. That's what happened, you guys. Everyone knows. We also have Kitty Kata, name Warwick Wren, characteristics short, nothing else. Do not add to this because the lack of traits beyond height is what defines him. Then last one, one of my favorites. This is from Geralt. Rensona is called Org Pay Ren. It's exactly 13 porgs in a trench coat, each of which was a porg that survived the Wookiees eating them and have been sworn to the dark. My weapon of choice is a megaphone that each of my porgs screeches into. I thought I saw another one actually today that had a microphone. But anyway, if I see it, I will name that one here. A lot of Rensonas. This is the thing. Right up there with the Ice Bucket Challenge in terms of just things that will like matter to history.
Yes. This is going to be in the textbooks.
It's definitely in the visual dictionaries, at least, when they have to update some sort of fan service related visual dictionary. I would love to see this there, because it is, obviously it's very important to us, but I think something like this could definitely help the Star Wars, the Star Wars universe. Joey Tedesco suggested maybe some sort of Knights of Ren spinoff featuring all of the best suggestions as something I'm going to do for a video, which that's not it, but I will be doing something kind of similar. Oh, one more. Okay. This is from Robin. I knew I saw this one before. My hashtag Rensona is Payzari. My mask is a Cyclops from the X-Men inspired goggles set. Only add a pair of black beats, and I'm equipped with a long stick with a taser at the end and a stereo system. I tase my victims and then blast the vibrations of their screams back at them. So a lot of people want to torture
That's metal
people.
as fuck.
Yeah, like everybody's trying to, really drive the point home that not only do the Knights of Ren exist, but like it's almost like the Inglourious Bastards. They're more interested in making sure that other people know that they're there, which is really the opposite. If you're looking at the movies, it's very possible that they just killed everyone very silently and efficiently, and there was never any survivors left to tell you that they did that.
I like to imagine that the Knights of Ren were actually just middle managers. They were there to supervise the stormtroopers, doing some indiscriminate slaughter, but they don't actually participate.
Yes, I think that's very possible.
It's definitely lame enough to fit.
It's almost like, there's a lot of really, really dumb parts of this movie. The more I sit with the Knights of Ren, the more the angrier it makes me.
But we're not here to talk about the dumb parts of that movie.
No, we're not. We're here to talk about another movie that, this is going to be a tough one. That's about, I don't know. What's this movie even about? It's you know what? It's about a very regular kind of cop movie.
Yeah.
It's
not that much to it.
Some guys make off with a bunch of heroin that was being stored at the police station, and two regular cops, who are actually not regular at all. They're very unregular cops.
Oh yeah.
Two loose cannons who don't play by the rules. Gotta track them down within a few days, or else the chief is gonna have their asses.
Yeah. It is Bad Boy, 1995's Bad Boys. I do not believe... Is it the first movie he directed? The first Michael Bay movie?
It can't be, but to the Google machine.
It might be. Obviously, he did a bazillion... Yeah, it is. This is the first Michael Bay movie.
Wow, really?
Yeah, besides, he used to do music videos back when those were things people cared about. Which, would that shock you at all, seeing this movie? No.
Would it shock you at all having seen any of Michael Bay's oeuvre?
Yeah. All the parts of those that people remember are the parts with music, right?
Whoa, Michael Bay is Leonard Nimoy's cousin-in-law?
What?
I'm on his Wikipedia page, and it just says relatives, Leonard Nimoy, cousin-in-law.
That's so weird.
Does that mean Michael Bay married the heir to the Nimoy family name? Or the cousin of that?
I don't know. I don't even know if he's married.
That's good for him, I guess. That's why Leonard Nimoy is in one of the Transformers movies. I always assumed it was because that's the kind of thing that Leonard Nimoy is known for, but...
No, Michael Bay is not married, so I guess that means that Leonard Nimoy married Michael Bay's cousin?
Yes.
Cool.
Good for them, I guess.
Yeah, his Leonard Nimoy's second spouse was Susan Bay.
Huh.
This is blowing my mind.
Wait, around when? What time are we talking? Was this 2007?
They married in 1989.
Wow, so way before Transformers 3. Maybe he's been asking him to do these forever. When he sees Leonard Nimoy at like the family cookouts, and he's just like, "Hey, Leonard Nimoy, do you want to be the bad guy in The Rock?" And Leonard Nimoy's like, "No." And then eventually he just wore him down and was like, "Fine, I'll do your stupid Transformers movie." Because he's the bad guy in Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon. Like, he's one of the bad guys. Megatron's the bad guy. But he's Sentinel Prime, who turns out to be bad.
Spoiler alert.
It's one of the bad ones. Most of them are the bad ones. Transformers 1 and Bumblebee are pretty good. I like them both. The rest are bad.
I've only ever seen Bumblebee, and I don't feel any particular desire to change that.
Not even after this? Is it all the best parts are car chases?
Yeah.
That's what he loves. That's what man was made to film.
And some notable explosions.
But these cars don't transform or speak, so I don't know.
Exactly. Imagine if they did. Wouldn't that be even better?
What if they had weird accents and balls?
Yeah, and races. Really aggressive races.
I was going to say, yeah, what if there was just the whole thing was just even more racist?
Yeah. Like, we're going to get to this one character that's like a stereotype, but he's a very, flexible stereotype that you can make fun of, and it doesn't matter, because he's one of those silly ones that I don't even think really exist in the real world. But man, when Michael Bay gets his hand on a real stereotype, boy, is that uncomfortable.
Oh,
There's
boy.
quite a lot of those in some of these. However, this one I would say is lighter on those. Because you really like I was saying, there's one who's just like a side character we'll talk about, and then one who's the villain. Who is the villain in this? Am I supposed to know who this guy is? I feel like I should know who this guy is.
They say his name. It's like Rocher.
Oh, but I mean like the actor. Is that somebody famous?
I don't know.
It's no, it's not this guy. It's some guy. It's fine. But so this movie, we're going to be talking about Bad Boys 1. How do you guys want to go about this? How do you want to start? You want to talk about just how we thought this movie was?
Yeah, sure.
We can start that way.
Okay. So Diggins, you have never seen a Bad Boys movie.
That's correct. This is the first Bad Boys I have ever seen.
I have never seen this one, but I've seen Bad Boys 2. DJ, you have seen both Bad Boyses.
I have.
So we'll start with Diggins. Diggins, what do you think of this movie?
I thought it was fine. It's a pretty standard like action buddy cop type movie. It's a little shaggy, a little loose, but you know, it's got good action scenes. It moves at a relatively decent clip. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are fun to watch. It's fine. I didn't mind watching it at all.
Okay.
It's a pretty sensible review.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. DJ,
I don't have a strong opinion about Bad Boys. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't want more fire. Like, I thought it was terrible, or this is the greatest thing ever.
I'm sorry, people. After weeks of me talking about new Star Wars and cats, I'm sad to inform you that I don't always have the most extreme opinion about things.
That's true. You came in hot with a blowtorch 2 weeks in a row, so yeah, this is a lot more tame.
Well, DJ, what'd you think of it?
I mean, like, there are parts when I like this movie, there's parts when I hate this movie. I think one thing that this movie does very interestingly, so it's a buddy cop movie, but it's weirdly like a buddy cop movie that takes place in Miami, and it's not like Miami Vice Miami, because it's the 90s. It's like Will Smith singing about Miami.
Yeah.
There's way more of it in the second one, but there's like a little touches in this one. Like, there's one scene where Will Smith's wearing like a Heat jersey, and there's like different shots where it's like, oh, that's Ocean Drive, or there's shots of the beach, and I think like some of the aesthetic that this movie chooses to use are interesting. So when this movie was filmed, it was like, I don't know about the heyday, but you're still in like prime Miami cocaine money times. So they must have just paid whoever studio did this like a lot of money to be like, come shoot in Miami because it'd be great press. And yeah, so I think that's an interesting aspect of this movie. Otherwise, it's a buddy cop movie that's interesting at some points, boring at a lot of points, and is like a fine watch. It's way too long. It's crazy that this movie is 2 hours in an age when movies all weren't, 2.5 hours long. So I think that's kind of nuts, like how long this movie is, and you feel parts of it.
Yeah, that's true. This time it was much more common to have a tight 90-minute action movie, so this is notably shaggy for its period.
Yeah, it's there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of extra that I do think you could probably get rid of.
There's so much fat to trim. Like, most scenes with the main female, you could just get rid of.
And I think you could cut down about half of the dialogue in all of those scenes that are just like Martin Lawrence is around. Like, there's a lot of that where it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. He's not that guy, but he's pretending to be that guy, and it feels very improv-y in a way that is not satisfying.
Especially some of the play between like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, where they're just going on and on. It's like, was there no script for this? Did they just say, yeah, it's do whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You could cut pretty much every scene of them bantering in half.
And it's part of it. I don't know. It's tough because there are parts where it does feel pretty natural. But yeah, it's just like, okay, how much of this do we really need? The answer is it's definitely not that much. All right, so we've talked about what it is. Well, we haven't really talked about what it is. DJ, do you want to explain the plot a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, features two Miami Police Department narcotics detectives, Mike Lowrey and Martin Lawrence's character, Marcus something. And there's the beginning of the movie opens with a drug bust. I will say the movie opens like pretty high action, like pretty good pace, which I appreciate. And a bunch of drugs are stolen. And if Mike Lowrey and Marcus don't get those drugs back in 4 days, they're done. What Diggins kind of alluded to. It's like, you only have this much time. Go do the thing. And they get so it's interesting, they get roped into the plot twice, because there's the beginning part where it's like the call to adventure where they have to get the narcotics back, but then there's a second call where one of Mike Lowrey's friends gets murdered by the drug guy, and then there was another friend who was there who saw what happened and reaches out to Mike Lowrey. So there's like a weird double-pronged, they get like double motivation to just do their job, which is kind of weird because they're already cops. So that's interesting.
Well, it's you have it as the job, and then it gets personal.
Right. Yes, that's true. That is a fairly typical dynamic for that to use.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's definitely super contrived in the sense of like why the plot comes back around to them, almost in like why not just have it be just the one thing. But I don't know. What is their reputation? Are they great?
So it's weird, right? Because they feud with the like two other cops, but that just seems to be like we're feuding because we're cops and we feud. But like unless I read this wrong, the general tenor seemed to be competent.
Were they the best ever?
It seems like because when this happens, the chief is like, "All right, you're my two guys. You got to be the ones on this." Like right. It feels like they're considered the best, or the cops you call on when things get tough or something. Generally positive, basically.
Yeah, it's funny because I think there are those two cops that are their rivals. And it's almost like Michael Caine. It's almost like Michael Caine and Michael Bay sat down.
Mike Lowrey.
Oh, sorry. It's almost like Michael Lowrey.
I would love to see Michael Caine's Bad Boys.
It's almost like all three of those people, one fictional, one not involved, and the one involved, all sat down to write this movie, and then just like took some things from cop movies that they knew you'd see in a cop movie, like bickering squad members and like rivals, but didn't know why. And then they just put him in there because, later in the game, it's not like these guys were like, "Oh, Mike Lowrey, you're such a loose cannon. We hate working with you." They're just like, cool. It's almost just like, well, that's how they must act, right? That's how police act every time you see them on TV. So let's have our police do that.
I think this is deeper than just looking at being like, that's how police act. I think it's just how Michael Bay thinks men act in general. Is that it's 90% just bullshit macho posturing, unless you're like some kind of dumb like government worker or something, and then you're basically a woman to Michael Bay,
or an immigrant. Then you're another class of person.
Yeah, then you're another class of like not a person to Michael Bay.
Hey, speaking of that, now that you mentioned that, you made a great point. DJ and Diggins, you suck. You're the worst.
We're going to go up, we're going to get our damn microphones, and we're going to thank our God and walk off this stage.
Yeah, get a room, you two. Oh, my God. These Michael Bay movies write themselves. But yeah, it is very that. I mean, it's super macho, obviously, except for the way they all act and dress. But like they all seem to think they're the most cool, tough macho guys in the world.
Well, that was the 90s. That's not on Michael Bay.
It wasn't, okay? The kids on rollerblades, the landline, yes, 90s. The vest that what's-his-name is wearing throughout the first act of the movie that Martin Lawrence is wearing, decidedly, I never had one of those. I never met anybody wearing one of those vests, but his character just wears it like clothes, so I guess that's normal for him. Because, like, there is... there's just like kind of ugly 90s aesthetic that I think Will Smith's character, I can't remember his name, buys into real heavy, which is like gigantic suits and like gold chains and stuff. That does feel very 90s to me. But Martin Lawrence's guy just seems to be dressed weird.
I mean, he's got like, he wears like a chain. You know what it is? I think, and I don't know if they were trying to go for this, but it was more of like a domesticated thing. Because that's what Marcus is, right? He's a married man. He's tied
he's
down.
A family man.
He's the foil to Mike Lowrey. So,
But then why does he wear a weird red sleeveless vest with no shirt on?
It's just the style at the time.
It was nuts. We all were there. We were all in Miami in 1995 when they shot this movie.
I was 4 in 1995. I can't comment on the fashion trends.
I mean, I was 6, and I remember those trends not happening exactly the way Mike Lowrey or the other one or whatever describes.
Yeah, Diggins. Nando had his Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jersey on.
I bet I did.
With his Air Jordans and his jean shorts.
I think
also known as
jorts.
They were jorts, and then there was something called Jenko jeans. I don't really know what that was. Backwards baseball cap.
Tying a hoodie around your waist.
One of those big
fanny
fleece kind of things. Yeah, or not fleece. Those, what are those? Windbreakers. They had a big windbreaker. Coke 2 or whatever. I don't know what soda.
New Coke?
No, there was Coke 2. I think that was 2000s, though.
The sequel to Coke.
It was pretty good, honestly. I think they should have stuck with it. But anyway, Mike Lowrey, he's a cool guy who has lots of female friends. And he's also the best cop ever. And then Martin Lawrence is his friend named
Marcus
Burnett.
This is Marcus. And he's what would you say his deal is?
He's more uptight. He's still a good cop, but he's the one who's like, this is going to be so much paperwork kind of guy, where Mike Lowry's the loose cannon. So that's their whole dynamic.
He's your pre-Kevin Hart Kevin Hart.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. I like that.
The proto-Kevin Hart, if you will.
And the what's his name? It's a Danny Glover in Lethal
Weapon.
Yeah. But I don't know, for some reason, even Kevin Hart and Danny Glover really sell like this guy wants to do paperwork, or like this guy wants to play it by the rules, where Martin Lawrence, I can never quite figure out how he wants to do anything. He seems to be there mostly to complain. Whatever Will Smith wants to do, he doesn't want to do. Be that like flirt with women, be that shoot, be that drive. No matter what the plan is, Martin Lawrence is not on board. But I mean, this movie is kind of mostly Will Smith, but it's really not.
There's chunks where Will Smith is gone.
Yeah.
And
I was expecting the opposite, but yeah, it's really much more like a Martin Lawrence movie featuring Will Smith than the other way around, which is a bold choice.
Well, not at the time, maybe.
Will Smith was big by then, I think.
95?
But was Martin Lawrence bigger?
I don't know. Maybe.
Was this the end of some kind of Martin Lawrence crest? And then, because by Bad Boys 2, it's basically Bad Boys 2 starring Will Smith. They're,
Yeah.
they totally flip it on its head. So I wonder if that was a product of the time where Martin Lawrence was your way bankable actor, and Will Smith was like, oh, he's been in a couple things. Because this is pre-Independence Day?
Yeah, I believe so. I think Independence Day 97.
Might have been like a year. Well,
could be 94. The show Martin was early 90s, so that's when we all would have had Martin fever.
This was a year before Independence Day.
Sounds
so this
right,
could be like before the Will Smith blow up.
Yeah, I mean, they were both probably equally cool, not cool, but equally popular sitcom stars, right? Because Martin Lawrence had Martin and Will Smith had The Fresh Prince in the early 90s, so it's kind of, I guess maybe they were on the same footing, and then, by the time they did Bad Boys 2, it was very clear who the star was and who the other one was. What else is going on in this movie? Okay, so you got 3 main characters. We've talked about 2 of them. Marcus, Mike. Who's the other one?
That would be Julia.
Yeah. She's fine.
Diggins, can you well, I don't know.
Okay,
do you wanna,
sure.
Yeah,
I can explain how Julia enters the story. So, once the dope has been stolen, Will Smith, or Mike Lowrey, asks his quote-unquote friend, Max, a a woman who seems to freelance as a call girl, I guess.
I think so, yeah. Does she own that gym or just work there?
I don't know.
Because he calls her into the office, and she's like, oh, okay. So as if she owns it.
I mean, she might. It's not very clear exactly what she does, but she definitely does some light call girl work.
Yeah.
Anyway, he asks her to like keep an ear out or keep an eye out, etc. Try and see if she can find out anything about this dope. So she goes to some client from her madam, who she suspects may have something to do with it, and brings her roommate and friend, Julia, along with her. In the course of this, the main villain crashes the party, which is being held by one of his accomplices that helped him pull off the heist, kills the guy and kills Max, but Julia sees it and escapes. So she is now an important witness in this case.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I think you can say about her and her whole deal before she really, like, the plot starts kicking in. I think my biggest problem with her is her character acts in a way that I find very hard to believe considering the circumstances. Not necessarily like I don't think anybody would act like this, because I'm sure there's people that would, but just like I think it's crazy that certain characters don't just sit her down and go, no, here's what's happening. Like, they just let her do whatever she wants, pretty much. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's 100% true. There's several points where, like, they could arrest her if they wanted to at one point, which we'll get to.
She just does what the hell she wants. And it all goes well, because whatever. It seems like her priorities are all over the place, but she is the third lead, and she does create what is the driving conflict of the movie, the driving internal conflict of the movie, which is fun. Although I do think it overstates its welcome a little bit. So that's about it. Let's get into spoilers. We have a wheel here. We have 10 things on the wheel, or 11. I don't know. There's a bunch. I want to touch on some of them. Are you guys ready to hit that wheel?
Hell yeah!
I am more than ready.
Good. So we're gonna spin the wheel. If you don't want to be spoiled, I guess don't watch, or turn it off now. But I think it'll be good.
I would hope none of you are watching, because
that's true.
It'd be pretty boring.
Well, we do put these on YouTube. People can watch the YouTube logo, or the mostly nitpicking logo, for 2 hours. It does it automatically, so it's fine. If people like that, do it. Okay, I'm going to spin the wheel. It lands, tick, 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 tick. Oh, it lands on one of mine. Quality time. So,
yeah,
I was taking notes, and this is what made me stop taking notes. It's the first thing that happens in the movie.
Yeah, literally the first scene in the movie.
Well, it's after all the Point Break
Well, it's
stuff.
after the heist.
But
No. The heist is after this, guys. This movie opens with them in the car.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. Sorry. I'm talking about... So, yes, you're right. There is that, where we've kind of been introduced to this idea that, like, Mike and Martin Lawrence, Marcus, are not great at detectives, or great detectives or cops or whatever. They are really good at pretending to bicker, to throw off enemies and make the enemies feel uncomfortable just long enough so that they can shoot them or at least draw a gun on them. So we get that in the first scene.
Okay.
But then,
right.
So then we get Point Break. The bad guys do extreme crimes with this weird little sled thingy. But then Martin Lawrence wakes up with his wife. So I want to take you guys through this disgusting scene. Martin Lawrence, and this is the first time we've seen Martin Lawrence's home life, and having seen two and not one, was surprised. Like, this is the main kind of conflict of, like I said, the internal conflict of the movie, which is like Martin Lawrence is, kind of envious of Will Smith and his coolness, and he has a home life that's good but not great. So he wakes up. Him and his wife are awake. She rolls over, wakes him up, says, "Do you have sweet dreams?" And then he takes the covers, looks under him at his dick, I guess, and says, maybe I'm about to have sweet dreams or something. Or no, he does that, and she goes, "You're so nasty." And then he says, "You always say you want quality time. You've got the quality. I've got the time." and then, so you read between the lines here what's going on downstairs. Then she's like, "No." And then the kids run in and just jump right on his lap. Now, this caused me a lot of, I had to rewatch the scene a couple times, and I cannot read that scene in any other way. That's all I can get out of it. But and it's gonna tear his family apart.
Oh God!
I know,
Why?
But that's the first. That's scene 3 of this series. All three of these movies. That's the third scene we've ever seen of them.
Nando coming out hard with the accusations against Marcus Burnett.
Marcus Burnett it's his wife. She's the one who's like, come in, kids. And then the kids come in. She knew what they were getting into. Marcus clearly didn't want him there. Also, I don't know. It kind of feels like a reasonable time for that, Mrs. Marcus. I don't know. It's just a weird scene. The way that it's set up, the first time I saw it, I thought they had just woken up from having sex before, but that's not what it is.
It's not.
Yeah, it's her denying him then, which is fine. That's acceptable. But the way that she's just like, yeah, come on in, kids. Do what you're going to do. Have fun. And it reminds me of like a scene in like a screwball comedy from the 80s, you know? But it's not. It's just a normal thing. But yeah, the kids jump right on him. It's not. It's very awkward. It's a very sexual movie, obviously, because it's like Will Smith or whatever. But the family is very involved in it because even in the next scene, Mike Lowrey, the sexiest man alive, is at brunch with them or like breakfast.
Breakfast.
Yeah. And then he's talking. Mike Lowrey, Will Smith, is talking to the kids, and the mom. I forget her name. Is like, hey, stop telling them your sleazy sex stories, Mike Lowrey. And then he's like, okay. And then she talks to Marcus a little bit about something. And then she, I believe, gets a phone call. And you can hear Will Smith at the table say, and I wrote this down, to the young boy, who's probably like 8, maybe, this line, man, she was boom, bam, whoa. So, like, these kids are they're getting, like, thrown into the water and told to swim because Mike Lowrey and Marcus are just, like, it's just a really, really sexual house. It's uncomfortable.
Hey, that would be very European of them, Nando, so maybe they're just very progressive.
That's true.
Yeah,
maybe this is what is just Miami, you know?
Yeah.
When I see Michael Bay movies, what I think is European.
Yeah. I mean, this is very on brand for him in terms of just like, what are two characters talking about when the action isn't happening? Fucking. Like,
yeah.
they only have one speed. And obviously we haven't seen 3 yet, but I'm pretty sure this will hold up in 2. And this is the main, as I keep like alluding to, which we'll talk about, the internal conflict of the movie is one wants to fuck, one doesn't want to fuck. And yet one is supposed to and one is not supposed to. How shall this be resolved between the two bad boys when, it's almost like this turns into like a Midsummer Night's Dream or something like that. Not Midsummer Night's Dream. What's the other one?
What are you...
Like the old Shakespeare play when it's like all these people want to kiss, but then they all have to dress up like the other ones to kiss them.
As opposed to the new Shakespeare play.
That's right. Yeah, not like what was it? God damn it! It was the I saw it on Broadway. It's not Midsummer's Night Dream. It's not Much Ado About Nothing. It might be 12th Night. Yeah, but it turns into one of those in the middle, which I guess is kind of fun if all you're expecting is car chases. It is just, I think, those individual scenes I don't love. But yeah, so sexy Martin Lawrence house. Anyone got anything to add to that?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, cool.
This is such a like sitcom standard premise stretched out to be a major part of the movie, which is just like married couple doesn't have sex much anymore. Oh.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I will have to see next week. I kind of feel like that's probably what the next one is too, at least for Marcus. I have a feeling there's some impotent something in there somewhere. So I don't know, man. Good for Martin Lawrence though, honestly. Because if they made you can kind of compare this to the Fast movies. He's playing the Tyrese role of kind of like dork who the women don't find attractive next to all the cool guys. But then it feels like Tyrese was like, no, my character's cool now. I hope this character, Marcus, continues to be a dork because I like a good dork in a movie who gets to be dunked on.
That's the premise of 4. It seems like the trailer's him throwing up kicking up in a lazy boy and then just being like, retirement, right? Like,
I haven't watched the trailer yet.
Oh, sorry. If you get around to it, it might be a good, I don't know, prime or whatever, but it's fine. But it looks like Martin Lawrence is a total nerd in this new one, like total nerd.
Very good.
I do have to point out, DJ, that you have posited the existence of a secret Bad Boys 3 that has already been released. I was
gonna say. Well,
I'm sorry.
He just didn't say the whole title, DJ.
Yeah,
Finish
Bad
the
Boys
title.
for Life. Excuse me.
Yes.
So dumb. Why did they do this?
It's the dumbest. It really is the dumbest thing. I know there's like titles.
They use the number 4. They use the number 4 in the title.
Yeah.
Well, they use the word 4. It's different than the number 4.
Wait, don't they use the?
No, it's not. It's not the number 4. It's FOR.
Oh, my mistake.
That would be so buck wild if the third movie they put the number 4 in the title.
I would love that.
They could do whatever they want, though. Then they could just be like, they could pick it up, like in media res with just whatever happens, and then go like, and this is our new sidekick, this little talking computer we all hang out with now, and you guys have to go like, I guess that was in 3. I missed that one, but it would make sense too, because I guess one of these comes out every 7 years. There was some Bad Boys in like 2010 that I just missed. Because
it's the only explanation.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Or almost like that. What they should have, like, they should do that with Deadpool. Just skip to Deadpool 4. One of these movies that takes itself not too seriously should really consider it. But guys, we have to get to the vest. We already pretty much talked about it.
We already talked
next thing
about
on the
the
wheel, he
vest.
wears an ugly vest. It's really ugly. The clothing in this is ugly. Some of it is the 90s. I think some of it is them. But here's my question about the vest. Do you think Martin Lawrence thinks it looks cool? The actor,
Martin
not the
Lawrence?
character.
Now?
Yes, Martin Lawrence. While they're filming the movie, do you think he's like talking to his costumer? Give me the coolest looking shirt-ish thing you can find. And they pull out the vest.
I want to give me a shirt, cut the sleeves off.
Yeah. Cut it
Sorry,
in
you
half,
mean a
button it
vest?
up. Yes.
No.
Well,
a
no,
shirt with
obviously
sleeves cut
you wear
off.
a vest over underclothes. This is the shirt. Wearing this as a shirt. Like, he's like, because none of the other detectives dress like them. I guess that's what it is. They're not undercover detectives. Like they don't have to work cases where they have to dress like they're, gonna take a vacation on the Medellin. They're just guys. And they walk into the office full of people dressed like detectives. And even Will Smith, you're like, all right, you put on a tie, but whatever, you're Will Smith. But with him, I'm like, where does he have what kind of tenure does he have here that he gets to dress like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, plainclothes officer is a thing, but typically you still got to be, like, in a collared shirt or something.
Yeah. Just
It's
sleeves,
Miami,
probably,
guys.
sleeves. Honestly.
They can do whatever they want. It's Miami.
Which is what leads me to believe that these two must be the best detectives on the force, because look at how crazy they dress. Look what they're able to get away with. They could get away with everything except for actually getting away with, like, not solving the crime. Then it's like, well, that's a bridge too far. But this, like, dress
Then
like
the chief will have their asses.
Oh my god, you can't even wait. We'll talk about it. Okay, I'm gonna skip to spin the wheel. Tick tick tick. Okay, well, actually, I guess this goes a little further down. Or well, not this goes further down. This is going further up. So I'm gonna skip on the wheel to another one of mine. Mine get out of the way real quick here. I want to talk about one drink.
Okay.
So the bad guys are doing some sort of heroin-related drug deal. Right, it's heroin or cocaine. I think they say heroin.
It's heroin.
Yeah.
That's what
Does he have
dope is. It's heroin.
But then does he have a bag of heroin? So I just assume that was cocaine.
No, it's
Pretty
probably
sure that's heroin.
Yeah.
Can you snort heroin?
You can.
Oh, okay.
Uma Thurman's character does it in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah, that's true. This was the mid-90s. Everybody was just snorting all the heroin.
Well,
Yeah,
she did it by accident.
that's true.
She thought it was cocaine.
And
Just snorting was super in at the time.
Yeah. So you can snort heroin. You shouldn't.
yeah, don't do it, kids. Say no to
Don't
snorting
do it.
heroin and some other things, but as far as
Specifically
things that
that.
come up in the movie, don't do that. How about this? How about DJ? Can you explain the situation that brings whatever her name is into the movie? The woman with the dog whose name I've already forgotten.
So, Lucy, right?
Julia.
Julia.
Jesus, Julia. Lucy. This is not that movie, DJ. Okay, so this is very interesting, but she knew from her friend Max, who was dead, that if she ever got into trouble, to call Mike Lowrey, because that would help.
Well, do you remember when she was told about that? Because I think that's really funny.
Wasn't it right before they go into the house?
Right before they go into the house, they're having a conversation like, "What you're gonna do? You're gonna be a hooker with me, right? Yeah, is this a good idea? Of course, it's a good idea. I got it from my best friend Mike Lowrey, who's the only person I would trust if I was ever murdered. You should probably hold on to that name. I'm going to say it about 18 more times before we walk through that door."
Can we also just talk about the insanity of being like, I was going to hang out with my friend. I can't do this call girl job. Oh, just bring your friend while you go be a call girl to this guy. Just entrench or just, bring her into the life, have the guy assume that she's also there for him.
Right.
Like, why would anyone agree to this?
And
gotta make that cash.
Well, but she doesn't seem to want it. It feels like if she has the energy of someone that's taken to a club they don't want to go to, and their friend was like, "We'll stay for one drink," because that's what she tells her. So, "We'll stay for one drink, and then you can go home." He's just gonna fall asleep, and then this one's like, "I'll take one sip," and it's like, "Well, what do you think you're there for? Like, you're obviously gonna. This isn't a one sip night. You didn't come in to like walk in, shake his hand, and then leave." But she's like so cool with just leaving this thing 5 minutes into being there. She's not committed enough.
And what was the guy's relationship to the bad guy? Because this isn't the bad guy; it's some other guy.
He was the one who gave him the inside contact in the police station so they could pull off the heist. So he was like part of the crew.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And he calls over these call girls, and our main bad guy finds out and is fucking pissed. So Julia is like away. She went to the bathroom or something. And then so the bad guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he shoots the guy, the man in the crew.
Yeah,
I need like code names for them. And then shoots Max, who's the girl who brought Julia over. And Julia sees this and she's like, "Oh my god!" And then she runs away. And then, inexplicably, she calls the police station, asks for Mike Lowrey, and says she will only talk to him.
Yep.
Mike Lowrey is chasing a lead somewhere, so he's not around. Marcus is in the police station. The chief, in, again, what would be like a weird sitcom comedy bit or like an SNL skit, has Marcus pretend to be Mike Lowrey.
All but saying out loud, like, "You're also black. Just be Mike Lowrey." Like, you guys are all the same, right? Yeah, you're basically the same guy.
And it's like, I don't know. Again, I think like he's like, "Okay, listen, I'll only talk to Mike Lowrey." She refuses to accept what would be the explanation that I think Martin Lawrence should probably give, which is, "Hey, I'm Mike Lowrey's partner. Mike trusts me. Mike isn't here right now. This is 1995. We can't just get him. He's not in the building. So you can wait until you get murdered by the guys that are coming to kill you, or you can trust me, his partner, and then we'll go to his house, which I can get into, which should prove that I know who he is, a person you haven't met, or the plan they go with, which is just like pretend you're Mike Lowrey and just do it like as poorly as you possibly can." Like, pretend you're reading the script to this movie for the first time with a vague idea of what a Mike Lowrey type is. But
Martin Lawrence, fine actor. Marcus Burnett, horrible actor.
Worst actor.
Yeah, right.
She thinks Mike Lowrey is not Mike Lowrey. I mean, he's not Mike Lowrey. The Mike Lowrey she thinks is Mike Lowrey is not the real Mike Lowrey. He's an imposter.
Yes. Although she's on to him from the get-go.
Yeah, she's pretty bad at this. Like, she's good and bad, because if she doesn't believe him, then what's she doing there?
Right, exactly.
But then, what character do we meet next, DJ?
I would like to posit that this next character is the Skimbleshanks of this movie.
Yeah, I'll give it to him. I think Police Chief Joey Pants might also be my... They're both weird character actor kind of guys. Oh, this one's got that kind of... He comes in, does a whole lot of his business and leaves, and he's gone immediately, which I guess is more Skimbleshanksy.
Yeah. So this is Chet. He is the doorman for the apartment complex where Mike Lowrey lives in. We forgot to mention this, by the way, but Mike Lowrey's rich.
Oh, yeah.
Parents left him a lot of money, so he's living the high life. Which is interesting, like, why he's a cop, right? He doesn't do it, for the money. He does it for other reasons.
He just loves the cops so much, just like Michael Bay.
So, Chet comes in at a very interesting point. So this is where one of the key things where
the key
Marcus,
things. He's got the keys.
Yes.
Anyway, go on. Yeah, yes. Very good.
So, yes, quite good, gentlemen, quite good. So he has to pretend. Marcus has to pretend to be Mike Lowrey. So obviously he has to take Julia back to Mike Lowrey's apartment. Certainly can't take her home.
No.
So the wife would give up the game.
Well, and his wife hates him. That's another thing we haven't really discussed. Marcus whatever, her Mrs. whatever has so much contempt for his job, and the fact that, like, because he really doesn't even consider for a second, like, okay, based on these circumstances, I can either just take her to my house, make the kids go away and have my wife play along, or I can just break into his house and hope that works. Like, he doesn't even consider maybe my wife will help.
Right. So Chet comes along. Now, Chet knows who Marcus is, and that obviously he's not Mike Lowrey. So he's like this very animated, like, kind of weird guy who at first he's like not playing along with Marcus. And, Marcus explains the situation that he needs to get up to Mike Lowrey's room. So first, Chet bribes Marcus, or not bribes.
Other way around.
Yeah, he has Marcus bribe him, which is interesting.
Yep.
Gives him like a 5, and another 5. It's like, oh, well, I've heard that your wife has been seen around, can't tell her, like, oh, can't tell your kids. And then Marcus gets physical. He actually gets to the point where he's given the squeeze to Chet. And Chet's like, all right, I'll play along. And, like, all this is fine, but it's not the best part. So, eventually Marcus brings up Julia, it's like, all right, wait here. And then Chet goes, oh, that was quick, ha ha ha. And then Marcus goes, it's not like that, right? This is official police stuff. And now Chet is all bought in. He's like, Marcus is like, oh, so here's what I need you to do. I gotta make sure the girl doesn't leave the room. And he's like, if anything, you gotta page me immediately, or call me, whatever he says. I think I call my desk. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll be your partner. He's like, I can take a chair. I can sit up outside the room. I could be a good partner. And he really just goes all in on trying to help Marcus make this thing work. And it's great. He's a great character. I love Chet. It's a short performance, but I think it's a good one.
Chet will break the rules of this apartment complex on a dime. Like,
that is true.
It seems like the least safe place to store anybody. Hey, Chet, can I bribe you with $25? Okay, probably shouldn't be the person in charge of what happens when some other guys show up. And they're like, here's $1,000 and a giant bag of heroin. He's going to let him through. Also, you could just torture him. Like, if the reason we're bringing her here is that she will listen to Mike Lowrey and she has to go to Mike Lowrey's place, and that seems to kind of be information that the bad guys would have too. They'd be able to trace this back to Mike Lowrey. You don't just... I just don't understand, like, does she specifically say, I have to go to Mike Lowrey's apartment? Or could he not be like, I'm Mike Lowrey, we're putting you up in a hotel room, you just have to relax? Like, why does he go back to Mike Lowrey's house?
She does, I think, suggest when she's like, I don't want to go in protective custody, why don't we go to your place? And he's like, yeah, we go to Mike Lowrey's place.
Yeah.
That's the thing we should do, to my place, me being Mike Lowrey. And this is, if you haven't watched the movie and are just listening to us, this is hardly an exaggeration of the way he talks when he's pretending to be Mike Lowrey. It's bad.
Oh, it's right on. It's and the character whose name I already forgot. What is he?
Julia,
Jimmy?
Marcus?
No, sorry, Chet. Chet sounds like that guy that runs the elevator in the Hudsucker Proxy. Like he's just ripped out of a 1950s newsroom kind of character. He's very weird. I don't know what he's going for in terms of like 1995 Miami. But I think that's why he's so funny, is he's just, like, all of the characters in Michael Bay movies are some sort of cliche, but every so often you get one that's not the right kind of cliche, and that's a lot of fun, because everybody else is just like, cliche police captain, cliche police wife, and, that's just what you're gonna get. I do want to mention, and I think, well, actually, you know what, let's skip to the next thing, because this is my favorite line in the movie, because of the big problem that this creates. The Mike Lowrey situation.
What is that?
Well, I guess just that he has to go into Mike Lowrey's apartment and pretend he's the person that lives there, even though he clearly doesn't live there. Imagining none of the clothes fit him. He doesn't know where any of it is.
Well, yeah, and that's like, I don't know at what point, because we don't discover that Julia knows he's not Mike Lowrey until like near the end of the movie. There's one scene where she's kind of hinting towards it, but she should know immediately. It's like, oh, you're lying, or you're an idiot, and I should not trust you.
She's kind of skeptical like the whole time, but she's like going along with it also.
Which is
it's
so
only
strange.
it's only at the very end, like you said, where we get direct confirmation where she's like, yeah, I thought so.
But he goes into his apartment and he's like, oh, yeah, he has a million excuses for why everything, I actually changed that light bulb, so that's not the light switch. Let me find it real quick. And at one point he trips over like the step to go into his bedroom, I think, and he says, why am I tripping on shit I know is there? And I think that was a very funny line.
That was a good line.
He does a similar version of that line like 6 times, so it really doesn't hold up. But when he just does it that one time, it's kind of charming. Do you guys remember the deal with the pictures? If anything was going to give him away, it's the pictures.
That was fun. I actually thought his explanation for that was genuinely clever on his part.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so at one point she's like hanging out in his bedroom and she notices that he's got a bunch of pictures up of a guy who is clearly not Marcus. So she's like, why do you have a bunch of pictures of this dude just in your office? Because it's a bunch of pictures of Will Smith as Mike Lowrey. Because I don't know. I don't do this. I don't know if you guys do this, but Mike Lowrey just keeps a bunch of pictures of himself in like a shrine in his bedroom.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I don't know why, but he does. So Marcus, for the first time ever, thinking quick on his feet, is like, yeah, that's my partner, Marcus Burnett. I have a picture of him up for every time he saved my life. And it's like, okay, that's weird, but I guess that could be a cop thing. I don't know.
I mean, the obvious answer is that's my pal Marcus. He's dead, right? Like, it's my friend Marcus. He's a dead man. Obviously, the movie it can't work because then you'd have to meet him. But there's still, like, that's the only explanation when it happened in the movie. Before he gave his explanation, I was like, oh, okay. And then he's going to show up later and she's going to be like, you're a dead man. I thought you were dead. But no, it's this instead. It's pretty, I mean, if either of you guys ever saved my life more than twice, I'll start doing that. Like, I'll do the picture thing.
That's fair.
It'd be fun. Send each other pictures, you know. How often does he, like, these guys are they the most dangerous cops ever? Or is this the first very dangerous thing they've been involved in?
I don't know. If this is their regular attitude to everything, they're probably the most dangerous cops ever.
Right? Yeah, for sure. But they're also, like, yeah, I mean, they're the best cops on the force. I don't know. It's just one of those.
Damn it, they get results.
Yeah. And then DJ got another scene of yours or another line of yours. It's the next thing on the wheel. It's we're getting into Michael Bay territory. We're getting some racial stereotypes.
Oh
boy.
yeah.
You want to take this one?
Right, this was mine. Oh,
Yeah.
I totally forgot. This is mother bitches, right?
Yes. Oh boy.
So this scene, for starters, is totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The trio. So at this point, I'm jumping ahead, but whatever.
Yeah. Sorry.
It doesn't matter because the scene's unnecessary anyway. Our trio is together. Mike Lowrey, Will Smith is pretending to be Marcus, and Marcus is keeping up his Mike Lowrey bit. And for some reason, they go to like just a weird convenience store. Not a weird convenience store, a regular convenience store. She needed shampoo. Yeah. So, this very stereotypical convenience store owner that is just it's so bad. It's not the actor's fault, it's the goddamn script's fault. But he sees Will Smith's gun and gets real nervous, as he should, right? And he pulls the owner or whatever, the worker, the employee, pulls a gun from behind the things. He's like, hands up, mother bitches!
Yeah.
It's like this ham-handed bullshit, like, trying to... I don't even know what stereotype they're going for. Like, it's this weird, like, Middle Eastern...
Not
just
American, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that this guy don't speak English good?
That's a lot of your Michael Bay stereotypes. Are just like, this guy doesn't speak English just like you. He's different.
It's like they had finished the movie and Michael Bay was like going over the edit and just thinking, God, I feel like we weren't racist enough, guys. I feel like we need just a little bit more, just a little something extra.
Well, and like DJ, you're right though. This scene has no bearing on the plot, I guess, because It doesn't. But also, it just like doesn't. There's really just not much to it.
It has no bearing on anything. It shows a bit of tension between Marcus and Mike Lowrey, but
But it's the same tension we already saw in that first scene, which is kind of the same thing, which is just if they bicker enough, whoever's holding a gun at him gets confused, and then they can beat him up. Like, that's
right.
That's their main thing. So, because we had that scene at the beginning of the movie, we don't really need this anyway. And also, so the guy... This did genuinely confuse me, though, right? Let's say you are Will Smith in the situation. This guy just pulls a gun on you. What are you supposed to do if you're the cop?
I mean, he tries to convince him he's a cop, and he pulls out his badges. The guy's like, "Oh, you want me to sell you a badge? Here, 99 cents. Here's a badge. Sold you a badge."
How often is he selling badges that they're next to the register? Everybody coming in, getting them. I guess I kept them in the back, but I should keep a little pile here in case. But, yeah, I guess you go, like, call the police station and ask them who I am? Tell them you have me at gunpoint and, you know. Because this guy has multiple pistols also. I want to say he has a couple of guns under his...
He's got, like, 4 hand cannons, like, behind the register.
Who is he? That one basketball... Trevor Arenas?
Oh, God.
How many guns does this man need?
Well, this is the Michael Bay universe where every man owns at least 5 guns.
Yeah, right?
Can I also just say, this reminds me, because in this scene, she's buying shampoo, like we said, but she's like, "Oh, they tested all these on animals."
Oh, I forgot about
She's
this.
vegetarian,
and she's like a vegetarian. Like, half of the scenes with her are just Michael Bay or whoever wrote this movie. I don't know. I don't
There's
think Michael
no
Bay
way
actually...
it wasn't Michael Bay, but let's see.
I don't think Michael Bay actually wrote this movie, and we're blaming him for script things that he didn't actually do.
I feel like he's got that writer that he works with, and then it's him. Like, there's got to be... It's what's like let's see. Well, I'm gonna look.
Well, it was a Jerry Bruckheimer production, so it was one of those deals.
I mean, these things are common themes in Michael Bay works, so I'm not saying that he has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, like half the scenes with her are just her being like, "I'm a vegetarian and I'm gonna make you feel dumb about the thing you do." It's just like so clearly Michael Bay being like, "Oh, guys, aren't vegetarians the worst? They suck. You know, you're just a good old-fashioned American man who loves his meat and his shampoo that was tested on animals. And now these vegetarians are trying to tell us not to?
Ruin America."
Well, it almost feels like, also the guys that wrote this are just the worst. So we got Doug Richardson, who wrote the movie Hostage in 2005, Welcome to Mooseport, Money Train, Bad Boys, and Die Hard 2, which I don't hate Die Hard 2, but it's just Die Hard 1. You have this other guy who's written a lot of television shows, but is mostly known for Bad Boys, a movie called Oscar, and I guess he wrote for Letterman. This person's name is Michael Berry. And then you got Jim Mulholland, who has the exact same credits as Michael Berry. So, like, this crack team of just the squad. But also, it almost seems like, because all the women in this have to be really annoying, right? Like, they can't be part of it. And it's like, well, how's Martin Lawrence's wife going to be annoying? Well, she's just going to be a wife. She doesn't want to have sex with him. She doesn't want him to do his job of saving all the people. She just wants to sit home and complain. And then someone else wrote a character and was, "Oh, what's her deal?" Well, she does want to have sex with him, and she does want him to be the police officer. But how can she nag? I guess she could just complain about everything else. She complains about where her dogs get to poop, and she complains about food that is or isn't, like, vegan, and complains about pickles. She just complains and complains and complains. Otherwise, how would you know that she's annoying and the guys are cool?
And then the two other prominent women I can think of, or at least have a role. There's the traitorous policewoman.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then there's the police, like, higher than the chief, who's just trying to destroy the captain.
Well, she's the internal affairs woman, and in the
okay.
This is actually my next point.
Yep.
So I'm gonna hold back, but like in this kinds of movie, they're always like the worst fucking people, the people who want the cops to, like, you know, have some amount of accountability.
Well, and
yeah, right.
It's funny because there's her, right? There's two forces in the police. Like, there's two ticking clocks almost, I guess. One is the police, because we even talked about this kind of, the heroin was stolen and it's going to be a big media story, which is why in the beginning of the movie. They're like, you guys got to solve this in 4 days or else it'll make us look like a bunch of morons. And that's kind of Joey Pants' deal, who plays the commissioner or whatever. And then you also have this nagging woman breathing down their neck, being like, also, I'm mad at you for all the things you're doing, so don't go and be good cops. Just keep in mind, I also hate you. So you don't even need both of them. You can just have Joey Pants. Also, Joey Pants could be a woman. It doesn't matter. But
it could, yeah.
I mean, but if he was a woman, how would he shoot hoops while they're just talking? Because that was my next thing on the wheel. At one point, they have to go talk to Joey Pants, the police chief. I'm assuming on business hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just catch him on the basketball court that must exist within the police station, because I gotta pull this scene up. I don't know if he's dressed for basketball. I don't remember him being.
He's not.
He's just like
he's
dressed
just
for
doing
police, and he's just like
he might be wearing like shorts, but not basketball shorts, like cargo shorts.
And he's there by himself. He's not at a game. He's just
shooting free throws so poorly. He's shacking it so bad.
Yeah, he's got like, I mean, he doesn't need to be good at this necessarily, but it is kind of like, why bother showing him be bad at it? What are we getting from it? Just that. Well,
then we get to know that the guys are cooler than the chief.
Pretty much, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the chief's a big nerd who can't shoot a free throw.
It is so hard to find this scene. I am flying through this movie.
It's okay. There's not a lot here.
Okay, yeah.
We're talking a lot of shit for three guys who definitely couldn't make a free throw.
I can make a free throw.
Get out of here.
All right. Okay.
My form is right at that. No, because I think Joey Pants also could make one. I think they made him dork his free throw up for the shot.
He chucks it like a half-court shot.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so this is at the police headquarters. Whoa, this scene is great. Oh, my God. All right. Okay. He's at the police gym, right? They walk up. This is whoever is, we'd have to look this up. It's too much work. Whoever's in charge of set dressing needs to be taken out behind the alleyway and shot. So these Mike and Martin Lawrence, whatever, I cannot remember. It's Marcus, right?
It's Why? Mike and Marcus.
Who thought that was a good idea? Mike and Marcus, played by Martin. Mike and Martin Lawrence. He gets no respect from me. His character walk onto what looks like the police basketball court, which has been like not like jimmied open, but it's like open late at night. Like this is what the police chief does in his spare time. There's nobody else there. They walk by a couple of trophies on a table next to a flag, which I think is kind of what we're like, oh, I guess this is like the police basketball headquarters. One of the trophies is for karate, so I don't know why it's there, but it's just on some table. And then the police chief, played by Joey Pants, who at least I know Joey Pantoliano, that's what we call him, right? He is shooting free throws. I'm gonna count real quick. 8, 9. So he has a ball in his hands. There are 9 other basketballs just on the court in the shot, which means it started with 10, and he's not picking any of them up, even though one is like a foot from him. It's a disgusting shot. And the ball rack he's standing next to would not hold all of them. It is too small, which means he must have shot some, went and got another rack of balls, and then shot 6 or 7 more.
So based on my memory, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Nando. So Nando Diggins, do you guys know when like at basketball games, they'll sometimes show this like on the news, where you can make a half court shot for like $10,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
Joey Pants makes the shot like that, where you take it and you kind of like bend your elbows back and almost like a pinball machine shoots a ball. That's how you shoot the basketball. He's doing that for free throws.
Yes.
That is not...
And his shots are going over the basketball backboard. Like they're sailing through the air. And we assume he's been at this for at least 9 balls. Like, they know to find him here. So he is the worst basketball player in the history of the world.
Yes.
But it really does feel like Michael Bay or whoever wrote this scene is just like, listen... They're talking, and it's like someone at some point went to a meeting for like storyboarding. They were like, listen, I've been reading this, and I keep falling asleep during this scene. I gave it to my wife. She keeps falling asleep during it. They have to be doing something besides sitting at a desk and talking. Otherwise, the audience will fall asleep. It's like, well, what if they were all shooting hoops? But why would they be doing that? Well, the chief is on his daily basketball break. Well, is he any good at basketball? No, he's the worst ever. Why is he doing it? I'm not sure. It helps him release stress or something. Is at least one of the cool guys going to get to take a shot? Of course they will, because they're cool and he's not. Will Smith is going to sink a three-pointer easy. And Joey Pantoliano's like, man, I'm the worst. It's awful. The scene's awful.
Oh, yeah, it really is.
Also in this scene, and this is just an editing mistake, Joey Pants... That's why we call him Joey Pants, has a cigar in his mouth sometimes and not all times, and it disappears like shot to shot. It's pretty disgusting. Specifically, 50 minutes and 45 seconds. This guy has a, like, Wolverine-sized cigar in his mouth.
Oh, it's so big.
And then
so big.
Will Smith takes a shot, goes swish, obviously, and then it hits the ground, and Joey Pants has, I guess, swallowed the cigar. Because it is not in his mouth any longer. He's just awestruck by the power of Will Smith's threes.
I'm pretty sure Joey Pantaleone, I don't know, has a cigar in his mouth literally every scene, like the most stereotypical police chief of all time.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I have to say, though, as much like crap as we're talking, I like him a lot.
Oh, I love this. I think he's great in this, in Daredevil, in the Matrix movie he's in.
Yeah, yep. I love him in Matrix.
I like him in general. I hate his character. Is just like another one of the stereotypes with no depth. I guess it's nice that he's kind of helpful. He's borderline encouraging.
Yeah, he calls for like all the backup at the end, and like he gives him crap like the typical police chief, but like it's generally seems to be like to push him, you know, in that like weird, again, a very macho way. Like, well, pressure makes diamonds, so if I push you, that's how you're going to get your best work. It's not I hate you guys so much. It's more than that.
It's tough guy macho posturing because that's the only way that feelings are allowed to be expressed.
Exactly. And this movie's just Beverly Hills Cop, and it's Beverly Hills Cop again with Judge Reinhold and the other guy who are like, oh, we hate you. The guy for Axel Foley, but goddamn, you're a good policeman, and we'll support you when the going gets tough. Not the woman, she's bad, but the guys will work together and be helpful.
I will say, everyone does commit to their role in like a fairly compelling way in this movie, and that's like good, right?
I guess better than not.
I mean, you could levy the same thing at Cats. Like, everyone at Cats commits, even Gus the theater cat, that fucking hack.
I mean, especially Gus the theater cat.
I'm not giving this up. He sucks and I hate him.
I think you can say that about Cats. I think people have said this about Star Wars, that they don't all really commit. I think you can maybe, like, we're just getting lucky that we're going straight from Cats to Bad Boys, that we kind of get this, wow, everybody's giving it their all performances. But
yeah,
sometimes people don't commit, you know? Sometimes you see the material and you go, oh, that's not good. And then this, I guess with this, sometimes you just, I don't know, you're torn by how confusing it all is.
That's why I'm curious about Bad Boys for Life, because is this going to be like a Martin Lawrence mailed-in thing?
Right.
Or even, heaven forbid, a Will Smith mailed-in thing.
And there's no Michael Bay. It's not a Michael Bay movie.
So where's the motivation, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a net loss.
I think the Michael Bay-ness of this is the only thing separating it from being nothing. Like,
no, that's true.
I mean, obviously, it's not a good movie, but it's a special kind of bad movie. Almost like Cats. It would be like if they tried to do it without the digital fur technology. We'd be watching it like, okay, yeah, I don't know. It's a bad musical.
Now what?
Well, yeah. What do you want? Speaking
Fair
of Michael
enough.
Bay, Diggins, I got one of yours on the wheel. Julia, smart or horny?
Oh, wait, we skipped over one of mine.
Oh, did we? Sorry, which one?
We touched on it very briefly, but I had one, Michael Bay loves cops and hates laws.
Oh, yeah, that did make it onto this list for some reason. But yes, I'm sorry, especially because we were just talking about the cop who has a heart of gold but is giving him a hard time. Yeah, that's a good transition.
Yeah, so this isn't necessarily just a Michael Bay thing, although he does this all the time. It's kind of just an American action movie thing, where it's like the whole thing is very rah-rah, love the cops. The cops are the good guys. They're always right, et cetera, et cetera. But also, anything that could possibly constrain them is the worst thing ever. Like, cops should never have to follow laws. It doesn't matter if cops, like, kill a bunch of people, blow up a street, or anything. Like, they were just getting the job done. And if you dare to question being like, maybe that wasn't the most effective way to do that, guys, then you're a monster. And
you're a hater.
That's what we were saying, where the internal affairs woman is just nothing but a huge pain and a roadblock who we're supposed to hate for being like, hey, could you guys maybe stop shooting people dead in the street?
And
could you maybe not do that?
And like making almost all of your, and this is like, it seems so quaint to say this about a Michael Bay movie, but like at a certain point she really should be like the explanation of like, hey guys, you're doing a lot of explosions. Can you do less explosions? That's a pretty reasonable commentary for this chief to make, specifically because at one point they're kind of like, I got an idea. The car we're in is full of things that explode. What if we just throw those things at them and try to shoot them to make explosions? And nobody in the car is like, there's probably got to be something else we can do, right? We're in front of them, they're behind us. What if we just stop our car? That'll probably make their car stop too.
We specifically came here to arrest so we could ask him about the main bad guy so we could try to find the dope and solve the issue. What if I just threw these exploding barrels at him and exploded them?
Yeah.
Like, it is completely in the face of what they're actually trying to accomplish in that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you question them doing it, then you're a horrible person.
I like to believe
fuck
that.
You.
What if Michael Bay, he has nothing, like he just has no control over this, right? What if like George Gallo, Michael Berry, Jim Mulholland, they all came to him one day and they just handed him this script and like the studio approved all of this and he was just flipping through it. Okay. Yep. Nagging wife, that's a little, but no, it's fine. That's kind of what people expect, 1995. Oh, nagging girl. All right, listen, I think I see where we're going with this. This page just says, good guys do a Donkey Kong. What are we supposed to do here? That's how we're going to end the scene. That doesn't make any sense. No. We're doing it. You're Michael Bay. You're going to do this, and you're going to do it for the rest of your life. And he's the monkey paw in his desk curled a finger. And he was like, oh, no. Especially I always wanted to make studio movies. I didn't want to make them about explosions, but I guess that's exactly who I am now for the rest of my life.
Like, what if he was a different person and being forced to make this movie changed him?
Yeah, he wanted to make a good movie, and like he wanted to make a movie about, like he wanted to make a screwball comedy about two cops that have to pretend they're the other one. One's cool, one's lame. What happens there? But instead, it's like, because there's beats in this that are like, okay, I get it. You don't live here. That's like funny, and it's not pushing like the limits of reality in a way that you expect in like Three's Company. But then there's beats later where like Will Smith is at Martin Lawrence's house with Martin Lawrence's wife innocently flipping through a photo album, and he picks up the phone, but right before he answers, the wife is like, put it back in, Mike Lowrey. I didn't want you to take it out. Put it back in because it's pleasurable when it's in. And then he hangs up the phone. In the photo album, the picture should be in the photo album, Mike Lowrey. Who was on the phone? Couldn't have been anyone important. Like, so that there's parts of this that do feel like a sitcom. Maybe that's what Michael Bay wanted to do this whole time.
There's one point. Oh, by the way, the way they convince the wife that Marcus has to go away is that he got like a subpoena. Like I remember the line. It's a federal subpoena. What's he supposed to do?
He's a fucking police officer.
The only time in the movie it's suggested that cops should ever follow federal law.
And you have to go to Cleveland to do it. Just say you have something to do. I can't come home, sweetie. It's police stuff. What does she think he does? He's not a superhero. He's just a cop. Why is this so hard to explain to people in this movie? They're all just so bad at everything they do except for shooting people. And even then, they're not great at it. But they're really bad at everything else.
Nando, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and I have a line here that you may support your theory.
What's that?
Director Bay did not like the script.
Oh, no. Oh.
Very good.
What?
I mean, the way it's rolling out here is essentially he just thought the dialogue was bad and engaged Will Smith and Martin Lawrence to like improvise dialogue and punch it up.
This makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense.
It feels like it.
Yeah, it does. And I think, like, I really think if they're... So I don't even want to blame Michael Bay for that then, because, like, maybe that is the right call. Maybe the dialogue here was bad. It's the editor that needs to go. There needed to be someone cutting some of this out, because this is starting to feel like a Paul Feig movie where like sometimes it works, but if you lean really heavy on the improving, it kind of gets tiresome. Yeah. I feel like the editor of whoever that was of Bad Boys is maybe the patient zero for Bad Baying, because this was a pretty successful movie when it came out. Right, like this was like it was
commercially successful. The reviews were mixed, but it did well enough to get a sequel. Yeah,
and he did The Rock the next year, and then like Armageddon even before Bad Boys 2. So he had like Michael Bay had a really solid career in the late 1990s, starting with this. It's edited by Christian Wagner, who edited True Romance, okay. He's edited quite a few things. Men in Black International, a bunch of Fast and Furiouses, Total Recall reboot, Next, the Nicolas Cage movie, The Island. It seems like he might just go where Michael Bay wants him to go. Face Off. All right, never mind. This guy's a genius. There must have been something else constraining this person. Because, editing is where this needed to be changed.
Maybe all those dialogue scenes were actually like 4 times as long, and this was the best he could do.
That's God, I hope not.
It's very possible.
If this is the best you could do,
well, because
gotta look at some stuff.
Speaking of editing and kind of direction and how confusing some of that is, let's do the other Diggins one that was going to follow Police Good, Rules Bad. Julia, Smart or Horny?
Yes. So
I think the editing really screws with us here.
So this is both a general point and a reference to a specific scene. The specific scene is after this car chase, explosion, blowing up key witness thing that we've been referencing. Marcus, who is still pretending to be Mike Lowrey, and Julia go back to Mike's apartment, and they're just kind of like hanging out in his bedroom, and she's essentially going like, man, all that adrenaline makes me pretty horny.
Want to think about stuff.
Hey, are you feeling pretty horny, Mike Lowrey? Because I'm a man. I'm not a man. You're a man. I'm a woman. We're in a bed.
I'm a Mike Lowrey.
And she's in a very high state of undress. Like, her shirt's barely on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, none of them are really wearing shirts most of the time. It's vests or half shirts or fishnet, whatever, so...
And she's, like, doing a weird workout thing with her legs.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly
one of those
what that
90s,
is.
like, elastic band move
yes,
limbs
one
bullshit.
Of those thingies.
Now, immediately after that, like, he's, like, awkwardly playing it off, like, nah. And she's, like, kind of poking fun at him, and then goes into talking about how, well, she's like, I heard you were so smooth, but you don't seem like that smooth a guy. But Marcus, wow, he seems so smooth. His wife is a lucky lady.
Yeah, how did she keep him?
Yeah, and it's like, it's unclear if she's just saying these things and like she's actually just horny, or if she knows what's going on now and is kind of like teasing him and poking fun at him because she knows what the deal is, and she knows that he's actually married and the other guy is Mike Lowrey, so she's just trying to fuck with him.
Yeah.
But there is absolutely nothing really to give away which one it is. There's never any kind of like, he leaves the room and we get like a knowing look from her and a smirk or something. There's just nothing until later in the movie. Marcus's wife finally tracks them down, sees Marcus with Mike and Julia in the apartment, and is like, what the fuck's going on? And when Julia answers the door and she's like, I'm here to see my husband, and Julia says the short one or the tall one. She says the short one, and she's like, had a feeling. Like, that's the first time we get any like real sense of like, oh, she did have a sense of what was going on. And it's just kind of strange. It's not necessarily bad, but it's just weird that we never really get any kind of hint of what she thinks about what's going on.
Well, it does seem like, now that you mentioned those two words, it seems like almost all of the characterizations of women in this movie, I mean, especially not the wife, because the wife is just bad and annoying, but her, Julia specifically, you could take an x-axis and plot out, that is, the x-axis would be smart, and the y-axis is horny. And then you can kind of plot out her emotions and where she is minute to minute. It's usually some version of that. Either she's doing a dumb thing and she's horny, or she's doing a dumb thing and she's not, or she is and she's doing a smart thing or not. You know, like if there are no other emotions inside of, or like there's no other things driving this character. It's just like, is she clever at this moment or not, or is she horny at this moment or not?
I would say that is accurate if under the umbrella of horny you include horny for murder.
Oh yeah, that's right. She does try to kill the guys. We forgot about that. She goes for it, man.
One of the impetuses of the scene where they do the ice cream truck chase with the ether is that she goes to the club where they told her that a bunch of the bad guys are hanging out, steals one of Mike Lowrey's guns and tries to shoot the main bad guy. So right away, if they wanted to, they could just arrest her right then for theft and attempted murder. Like, she just did a big crime.
Yeah, but Diggins, she cool, man. She cool.
Cool. She's cool, and you know what? Also, she'll play ball. She's part of their group of weird shooty McCop guys or whatever any of them are. Anyway, like she fits right in.
It's also worth pointing out that she was also, when they were talking about going to the club to arrest this guy, she was like, "Oh, I heard, so we're going to the club tonight." And they're like, we are. We're not going to bring you. You're a witness, not a cop." And it's like, this started because you were so terrified of these guys that you needed protection. And now you're like, I want to go directly to their club.
Yeah.
Unarmed.
And they all get spotted immediately. It's not like it kind of works, because this is the club where Martin Lawrence's guy gets caught in the bathroom by the other guys, right? Is this the club where Will Smith is caught looking at women?
Yes,
looking at a woman's foot, Will Smith confirmed in defeat.
Yeah. And then he's like, and then he just comes in and saves the day when Martin Lawrence is almost captured. But yeah, so like, I don't know what any of them are doing there. What is Mike Lowrey doing there at that moment? And is he just like trying to blend in by being super horny?
Well, he's not even into this stuff. He blends in poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say all you want about Marcus. He's a very faithful man. He is surrounded by so much temptation and never even kind of gives in. Like, never even gives the hint of it. So good for him.
I think he's just mostly confused. He's probably worried about what that nagging wife of his would say, you know? Who comes in after this has all kind of gotten moving, like you were saying, and this is when the jig is up, and she's still like, "Oh man, you're in the doghouse tonight." And he starts oh no, honey, it's not what it looks like.
Oh my god, the excuse machine gets cranked up to 1,000.
Just show him something. There's nothing, no permit. No, sweetie, look, this is what's up. Call the commissioner. It's a thing. Why don't you trust me yet? What do you want me to do? Like, I am
not be
shooting
a cop.
people every night. I'm a cop. Yeah.
Also.
Like, I lied for your protection because the guys were shooting at me. That never occurred to you.
Also, she treats, like, the confirmation that Mike is Marcus and Marcus is Mike as, like, big betrayal. That means she should leave and, like, not be with them anymore. Even though she kind of already thought it was the case and was hanging out with them anyway. Like, why does having it confirmed for you suddenly make it unacceptable?
Plus, it's not like you went to them. It's not like by this time, they haven't confirmed that they're at least trying. They're shooting the bad guys with you. So they're good. Like, who gives a shit who they are? They're at least not the bad guys. If they are, this is the weirdest, most roundabout plot to get you killed somehow that involves, like, this little weird bait and switch with people you don't know, where the other bad guys that she's already seen and recognizes shoot at both of them, and it's like, oh no, you're not Mike Lowrey. Who cares? It's some guy who's not trying to shoot you. So him, hang out with him. Maybe they're lying because you would only let you, like, honestly, I really think when it gets kind of brought up in this room, there's just so much of this movie that's dumb bullshit. Where, like, you get the whole thing gets, brought up. Oh my God, you lied to me? Well, yeah, he wasn't there, and you said you would only talk to him. So they made me do it. But, like, fuck, man, what do you expect? That's not how police works, miss. Like, I try with her, I really do, but she's just so difficult for no reason. Like,
Because women, am I right?
Women,
Yeah,
right?
boys.
Why can't it be boys instead? That'd be a 20-minute long movie. They'd all just get into a room, shake hands, exchange guns, and kill the bad guy. Which is pretty much what happens in the next one, except the bad guy's just one step ahead of him every turn. Johnny Tapia. Just you wait until Johnny Tapia comes around knocking.
Oh, God, Diggins. I'm so excited for you to see this movie.
The second one's great. The first one's so dumb. The second one gets rid of all this bullshit, all this, Three's Company nonsense, and it's just all this stuff with guns. And it's overexposed, and the cars are better, and everything's... It's so great. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
It's so good. All right, end of the movie. Everyone shoots, things explode. DJ, do you want to explain the end and the beautiful little line it ends? The beautiful little one-liner that we get from this movie.
So one thing that's weird is, I don't want to say it's, no, anticlimactic is not the right word at all, but it ends so strangely. So let me see if I can accurately explain this. So there was, they had to find a file of a guy, Eddie Dominguez, I think the name was.
Sounds right.
That was the guy who was shot along with Max, who had gotten the main bad guy the contact in the police station.
Right.
Okay. And so they had to find him. It was, for some reason, imperative to find Eddie Dominguez.
To find his file, because he's dead. They know he's dead.
Right, sorry.
And the file is locked behind a password, and it's illegal for them to access it because of privacy records. But they're like, law is just holding good cops back. Gotta break the law.
Just wait, Diggins, until Bad Boys 2. We're breaking American laws here, Diggins. We're gonna break international laws in the next one.
Oh, well, come on. Everyone knows that other countries' laws don't count.
Oh, they count so little. It's so funny. I really want, we don't do commentary tracks. It wouldn't work because we're all watching this in different rooms and we're not always together when we watch it. But just the bit that transitions, the thing from the thing in the next movie, I just want to be there when Diggins sees it.
I know.
It's so stupid. It's great. Anyway, sorry. So they're looking for the file for this guy. They have to do computers to get it. They don't have the password, but good old America, they get it anyway.
What's interesting is, and here's how they do computers. Do you remember how they do computers, Nando?
I just watched this too. I should know.
They get an inmate to hack the system.
Oh yeah.
And to the movie's credit, they don't I don't know, stereotypes, whatever. They don't get this little nerdy guy. They get a large African American gentleman to be the computer hacker. So progress.
We already did our nerdy scientist guy. If we wanted to do one stereotypical nerd, there is the guy that's doing the ethanol.
That's right. Yeah, we got him out of the way.
We just need more time. There's not enough. There's too much oxygen in here. And the evil, who I don't even think we've even kind of described the villain of this. He's just
we haven't.
He's a Michael Fassbender type, but worse, a million times worse. And he's just you got to give me the drugs now. And the guy's
he's
like,
doing
we
a drug
can't.
deal.
You haven't given us time. And he's like, you don't get time. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, sir. We'll do our thing. It's dumb as fuck.
You're giving him a German accent, which is at least kind of vaguely threatening. He has a French accent, which is just very incongruous for the kind of character he is.
That's true. I think it's partially so this movie almost feels like Point Break mixed with the villain would be not like that character, but almost like a James Bond villain who's cool. I don't know. It's I've never seen
Are you talking about Mads Mikkelsen in Casino Royale?
I wish. No, someone even worse. It's one of the Pierce Brosnan ones. But anyway, there's a and it's not the one with the North Korean guy who fences diamonds or whatever.
Are you talking about Boris in GoldenEye?
It might be. Yeah, I might have to.
I am invincible. That guy.
Shoot, I might not
nerdy
be
hacker Russian dude.
There's a movie I'm thinking of which has a villain, and the villain is French. And maybe it's not a James Bond villain at all. People tweet me French villains. It's Ratatouille. It's the villain from Ratatouille.
Oh,
Skinner,
that makes sense.
That old Skinner fella.
That would be it.
There's something. It must be John Reno because he's the actor that does this in the 90s and 2000s. But either way, yeah, But I think this guy's even less of anything. He's just kind of vaguely European. So go get him, guys. Like,
as well as like vaguely threatening. Like his big threatening thing is like he's not even like a Hans Gruber where he projects how threatening he is and works for this team. He just shoots guys.
He shoots his own guys. He's a Darth Vader type. Yeah. Poor
Yeah.
management style. Look what it leads to.
But I do appreciate that their plan for dealing with this witness who is a threat to them because she saw them kill somebody and so, could testify against them is to very publicly shoot other people.
Yep.
Like in full view of dozens of civilians who could all testify that they saw them shooting people.
Well, sometimes yes and sometimes no, right? Because they'll chase her through a hotel or whatever it is that there's like these bungalows over rooftops. But if she jumps into the pool, they both just go, good for her. I guess she got it. All right, well, live to fight another day.
Yeah,
Cross
she's earned
hands.
this one.
Yeah, like the points in the movie where they're, and it's not like it's like she's very cleverly hiding under the pool and she's like, good, she's dead, or she's like hiding under the pool and they know she's there, but it's that rule where like a bullet isn't useful after like 3 feet in the water. It's just they're like, man, if only we had some sort of weapon that could throw death hundreds of feet away. I guess we don't. So, shit. It's not even like Jenny. Like, what did they tell the bad guy? She jumped from really high into a pool, and then you guys did what? And then we came back, and you guys didn't do the pool thing? No, that'd be weird because people would see. Like, I don't even like know where they are, but it seems like they're at like a sandals resort or something when the heroin deal is going down.
Generic Miami.
Pretty much. Yeah. There's a lot in this movie, and this was the 90s. So this was the thing of just people running away from bullets with their hands up and their heads down and being fine.
Yeah, they're okay.
It works. You get a little sick of it near the middle, specifically when bad guys like when bad guys. There's a scene where the bad guys are shooting at not Mike Lowrey, Martin Lawrence, and this Julia, right? And they are doing nothing. Like, they're just running in a straight line. These bad guys are just standing, shooting them, and they can't hit them. But Stormtroopers, it's fine. Exactly.
It's like the can, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess
So they
basically figure out where the drug deal's going down with good policing and figuring out that someone on the inside was being bribed. Whatever. It's very uninteresting.
And Julia's been kidnapped.
Yeah.
And Julia has been kidnapped. And not immediately killed for whatever reason. Like, she's held as bait, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it seems very unimportant. The movie doesn't even seem to think it's
the movie
important.
couldn't give less of a shit.
So it's the final showdown. They get the two guys who they're like not exactly friendly with. Right? They're like, you want to come in? You could get killed. And they're like, all right.
Oh, those other cops?
Yeah.
Well, weren't the other cops trustworthy before? There was
Yeah.
There's a point in the middle of the movie
they
where
helped them arrest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2 guys were staking out Marcus's house to kill him,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the other 2, and so Mike Lowrey calls in the other 2 cops, and they arrest those guys.
like, don't you go shooting cops. We're a bunch of boys, and we're like
band
each
of
other.
brothers.
Yeah. So fuck off. That's what. This is like, yeah, it is. This movie is what it is. If you haven't seen it, I know it seems like we're doing a really big like caricature of all these characters, but we're not. Like,
Oh no, it's
watch one scene, you'll get it.
These are basically 1-to-1.
Yeah. So then,
it's a final fight, right? They go in to bust up the drug deal. And so it's pretty good. They stake out the scene. They're like, oh, it's pretty tough. I don't know how we're going to get in. We can't like bust through. There's so many guards. So Mike Lowrey gets the brilliant idea of, oh, we'll just get a garbage truck and drive it through a wall and have a classic shootout, you know?
yeah,
Fucking Rambo style.
like
Let's do it,
from
boys.
movies.
As the cops do.
Yeah, and like it's really high tense because before they go, the internal affairs woman's like, "I've shut you down," and the chief is like, "I gotta call in some help," and he calls people. We don't know who's on the other end of the line, but he gets like cars and choppers and all this stuff as backup. Doesn't show up until all the fighting's done, so that doesn't seem like it was real helpful, but whatever. At that point, the bad guy was even shot dead. But yeah, we have a classic shootout. And yeah, it eats up probably... What's weird is, as a little spoiler for Bad Boys 2, the ending sequence takes up like the last 45 minutes of the movie, and this takes up the last like 10.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
It must have been for like budgeting purposes or something like that, but it's not like very long. It's not like,
yeah,
that's why I said it's not anticlimactic, but it's not like a huge climax. It just kind of comes and goes.
I'm gonna say, like, when people see Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2, And if you want to kind of try to guess not guess, but if you're to like, well, is it that much bigger? And like, is it that much more badder? When you remember that the beginning scene of this movie, Bad Boys 1, is them arguing in a car. Guy tries to steal the car. Whoops, they're cops. They shoot him. And then watch the beginning scene of Bad Boys 2, which I don't want to spoil, but it should kind of show you how much the stakes are raised in an insane way. That Bad Boys 2 is kind of a parody of Bad Boys 1, but Bad Boys 1 is also like an unintentional parody of a general police movie. So it's like, it's so unrealistic that it would be weird if Bad Boys 2 ended like a normal movie. Whereas with this one, having seen Bad Boys 2, I also was kind of like, so the plane's going to fly away, and I guess Mike Lowrey's going to be on the wings, and he's going to have to kick the guy out of the captain's, or like, out of the cockpit, and there's going to be some sort of brawl in the plane, and it's like, nah, not really. That's not how this goes. But if this was Bad Boys 2, that's how that would go.
Yeah, for sure. So they come in and they kill him. Oh, there's like a weird like
the buyer for all the dope shows up, and it's like framed like, oh, here's the buyer, like, whoa, big the big bad guy behind it all, but he's not, and also he's not important, and we never learn his name, and he doesn't matter.
And of course, the bad French man kills him immediately because that's his whole thing.
He kills his own guys. You can't trust him.
That wasn't even his guy. It was the dealer.
He kills guys. If you got some guys, boom, adios.
It kind of feels like they filmed that and then realized it didn't make sense, so they dub over a guy like right before he shoots him, going, "It's a setup."
That's a very likely possibility. I want to watch that again and see, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But
so yeah, and then so there's a big shootout. I don't know if these were on the wheel or not. I can't remember. But Marcus gets shot in the legs, and it's like, oh no! And then the ether, which is the weird random chemicals, like lights on fire. Julia drives a car into it because she was able to get out of the handcuffs with some magic key that she stole from Mike Lowrey's place, and that blows up, and it starts to set off like a chain reaction of a lot of blowing stuff up, and basically our three main characters get out, all the bad guys die except the main bad guy. There's a really cool car chase, and then they basically take out the bad guy.
It's it's a cool-ish car chase. It's mostly just two cars driving as quickly as they can in one direction. The bad guy has what I think is like a Shelby Cobra or something. And the good guys have, I'm trying to figure this out by just watching it slowly, some sort of BMW, or no, maybe it's a Porsche. They're driving a little souped up Porsche. But, fake Mike, Martin Lawrence is driving the car, and Will Smith doesn't have anything to do during this scene, but he's still in the car. So he has about a minute of screaming like, drive the car faster, keep driving, drive faster, car faster.
He's driving the car with shot up legs, and he gets shot legit in the legs, like twice in the kneecap and once in the shin in the other leg. Like, he's down, man. Like, he's not driving shit.
Yeah.
So Will Smith is even like, you drive better with shot up legs. It's like, oh, okay.
But then also
doing this now.
You missed, so we've gone past the shootout in the airplane hangar, which includes this movie's big dumb one-liner.
Oh my god. So the one of the bad guys is in the plane, and Marcus gets the jump on him, and he's not going to shoot him, but he's going to shoot the barrels of chemicals to blow everything up. And before he shoots, he gives the one-liner, "You forgot your boarding pass."
An insane line.
What does that mean?
I have to say, if that is indicative of the quality of the script as written, then Michael Bay maybe had a point.
Yeah.
It's a bananas line. You forgot your boarding pass. And the delivery is he delivers it in a way that would be like a badass movie line.
Yeah, he does his
honestly,
best with it.
But this is a line from MacGruber.
Yeah.
MacGruber's like, hey, buddy, you forgot your boarding pass.
Right?
Boom, 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 boom. This is not a Bad Boys line.
Yeah. If it was like, trying to think of another. Okay. Let's think of the worst line that this could be.
Oh, God.
If this movie took place in a subway train. What's the worst subway train one-liner you could say?
Okay. Hey, your Metro card just expired.
Yeah, right.
Damn.
Those turnstiles have been jumped. Oh no, it would be he'd
Please stay behind the yellow line.
I was gonna say it'd be stand clear of the closing doors. Pow, 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 pow. But it's not like a gun pun. It doesn't have anything to do with exploding. It's just something that you would never say to someone getting on a plane.
Yeah. Sir, you forgot your boarding pass.
Forgot your boarding pass. You're gonna have to leave this plane. What the fuck does that mean? Is that like something that you would say to your husband as your nagging wife would say to her husband as they leave the taxi at the airport?
Honey, you forgot your boarding pass.
Oh, this nagging wife and my boarding pass. Why can't I just be cool, hot, sexy Mike Lowrey with his sexy smart girls? It's like, it's the weirdest little line. Like, and this. It's funny because it's a shootout, right? And it's shootout between Martin Lawrence and Slick Airplane Guy. I don't remember any of their names, clearly.
Yeah.
But the guy who he's shooting at and him are having a one-on-one gunfight. Whoops. Oh, my God. I pointed so quickly behind my head that I knocked my headphones off. Because,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I have this on in the background, and it's very exciting. One-on-one gunfight. And they both have each other in each other's sights. And even though all it's going to take to kill this guy is one good old American bullet, which is what Martin Lawrence's guy has in his gun, he makes what is deemed at that point the smart decision to change his, like, take the time it would take to aim at the barrel, shoot the barrel, and the guy is like, what? And then he is killed. But he's not killed more. It doesn't help that much. The bad guy just escapes in the car anyway.
Yeah, if anything, it makes it worse because Mike gets shot by the bad guy while he's pursuing him, and he has to, they got to get out of Dodge because all these fucking barrels are exploding.
Right, everything they do only makes sense if they are characters we are playing in a video game. That's the only way it's like, well, I guess there's barrels, so I should probably shoot the barrels. Because, everybody in the movie almost burns to death because he shoots barrels, and that makes explosions, and then other barrels start rolling around, causing other explosions. And, it seems like it's all just because his character is so bad with guns that he was like, I probably won't be able to hit this guy, but I can definitely probably hit this giant pile of, barrels, and that will explode and probably hit this guy. Because
I remember when
this hangar explodes like it's being carpet bombed, and they just barely get out of there.
I remember when I was in police school, and I failed every single marksman thing, and they're like, well, we'll make you a cop, but you're not allowed to try and shoot people because you're terrible.
Yeah.
Try and go for barrels. If there are barrels nearby, shoot those. You'll nail it.
This is something that, what's the one the other guys does as a joke. But in this movie, it's like a normal thing. By the other guys, I mean the Will Ferrell movie called The Other Guys. I'm sure there's multiple characters in this movie that I've called The Other Guys. But I mean Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg buddy cop comedy from 2010, which is terrific. Also 100% worth a watch, especially if you've seen this and you're like, oh boy, you want a cliched Joey Pants style police commissioner. Can't do better than Michael Keaton in The Other Guys. He's so funny.
Sorry, what was the original question, Nando?
The original question was, what's that one-liner? We got it. And then the other one was about the legs. That was the other beat we wanted to
You
hit.
said, what was this like in The Other Guys?
Oh, I'm saying, there's the whole bit is that some of them can't, Mark Wahlberg can't shoot in The Other Guys. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
They hit similar beats as jokes in The Other Guys that they hit in this as serious things.
Right, which is strange.
It is strange. But yeah, so the movie ends with this little drag race, but a drag race where they have to get the bad guy, but also if he wins the drag race, it's not like he could go anywhere, you know?
Yeah, the bad guy's screwed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's another, I hate to use the word anticlimactic, but it kind of is because you see where all the action's going. And again, this for the fifth time this podcast, in Bad Boys 2, the ending is just insane.
Yes. It is 100% just absolute. It is like everything that happened. If it would be like the chase in this movie if they were drag racing planes. The stakes are that high. Whereas in this, they're just drag racing little light sports cars.
Yeah, realistically, they could just get on the radio and be like, APB on this really specific high-end car that probably no one else in this city has.
Without a doubt.
So just go ahead and pull that one over, and yeah, we can wrap this one up.
Especially because moments later, about, 5 dozen police cars and 3 helicopters show up. So it's like, we're fine.
Yeah.
We don't need this one little sports car chase that's very expensive and cool, but ultimately unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not driving a Land Rover. Like, he's not going to be able to drive just off the airfield into the woods, which is where he would go. They're just kind of driving past the airstrip into just some sort of wooded area, and his Shelby Cobra can't eat up dirt. Like, that thing's gonna bottom out immediately off pavement. So then he makes a run for it, even though the car he is in slammed into a concrete wall going 80 miles an hour.
Oh my god, he would have been so fucking dead.
How does he not explode? What explodes and what doesn't explode here? That's an explosion if I've ever seen one in a Michael Bay
I was
movie.
waiting for it, and when it didn't happen, I was like slightly disappointed.
Well, the thing is, they have the technology to make sure no car accident ever results in a fatality, but they only put it in the rich people cars.
Yeah. That's the class warfare of the Michael Bay. This is a video essay I haven't written yet. Hold on, let me write this. Michael Bay class warfare, car explosions. Say hello to that, and that sounds like a good April Fool's Day video. But yeah, so then there's this weird little, like, Batman Begins, will you kill them, will you not kill them moment. Like,
oh, God.
I don't want to say that comes out of nowhere, because I guess that's kind of part of it. But that's not what the movie's about.
Yeah, I mean, he did kill Mike Lowrey's, like, good call girlfriend, so...
Yep.
Yeah, and, like, there was kind of a thing of, like, man, he's pissed about that, and this is personal to him, but also we don't really touch on that much throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it barely comes up because Mike Lowry's not Mike Lowry. He's Marcus.
Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of gets lost in the pretending to be the other person's shuffle.
And the bad guy has a gun that has 4 barrels. It's kind of weird little pistol.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the deal is with that. But
Fun
then
times.
he tries to shoot fake Mike Lowry, which gives real Mike Lowry an excuse to shoot him anyway. A lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he riddles him with bullets.
Oh, my God. It's like Quentin Tarantino directed that scene. This man full of jam.
Oh, I
shot.
would love for Quentin Tarantino to direct Bad Boys. That would be
Oh my God, that would be so good.
Phenomenal.
He could direct a remake of this movie, but Quentin Tarantino, I'd love it.
Yeah.
All the feet, it's right up his alley.
It's true. There is the 1 foot scene. It's basically written for him already.
Yeah, that would be
long scenes of people bullshitting back and forth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then the movie ends with Martin Lawrence is like, I gotta go home, you two fuck. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty weird.
It really does.
And, like, so we've all seen Men in Black, right? From 99 maybe?
Yeah.
It also leaves, like, this movie feels very much like Men in Black, where it's like, listen, Will Smith and Pretty Lady, you guys are the new thing now. I'm not part of it anymore. See you guys in the sequel. And then, I don't want to spoil it for you, Diggins, but whatever her name is, Téa Leoni does not become a bad boy in the next one.
Unfortunately.
She is written out immediately.
Mm-hmm. That's not surprising at all.
It's a bummer.
But we get Gabrielle Union in the next one, so there's that.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on in the next one. It would be weird if they tried to get the gang back together. I wouldn't be shocked if we see her in the next one. And that'd be fun if we had to call on like new whatever she is. I don't know, Madam Téa Leoni.
I would be amazed if Téa Leoni or Gabrielle Union is in the new one.
I don't know.
I haven't even seen Bad Boys 2, and I'm like, yeah, they wrote that character out.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Téa Leoni, that Jurassic Park 3 money dries up real quick. If
Yeah.
William H. Macy and the story of whatever his wife's name has taught me anything, it's sometimes
and Dwayne Wade doesn't play basketball anymore, so Gabrielle Union might need to bring in some of that bread.
Very true. Maybe that's why they did it. They were like, we'll get the whole cast back together. Finally, everyone is desperate enough to do these movies.
they need the money.
Also, real quick, this isn't an important detail, but just I have it on and it just went to the credits. The first credit in this movie is to a character named Lisa Boyle, because it's in order of appearance. She is the actress whose job it is to distract Mike Lowrey and Martin Lawrence in that first scene where they bicker and almost get carjacked. Anybody want to guess what her character's name is?
Oh, God. Lady One.
Diggins.
Distraction woman.
Oh, you're both so close. Try again. I'm going to give you guys one last chance because one of you's going to get it. Oh, man. Diggins, you go first.
Okay.
Distraction prostitute.
DJ?
Female distractor.
I'm going to give it to DJ. It was girl decoy.
Girl decoy.
But then Michael Teleferro's second one is just carjacker. Why isn't he male carjacker? Guy carjacker.
You know the answer.
It's a classic Michael Bay move. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's not bad.
No, this
fine.
movie is by no means bad. It is watchable. It's long at parts, but like it's fine.
It's shaggy and overlong, but yeah, it's basically fine.
It's bad once you've seen the next one and you realize its potential.
It's true. Next one's I am so excited for next week and for Diggins just to be like, what the
I may watch the next one again right now. I've seen it so many times, but I'm like, because it really, all of the shortcomings of this one, and I will say this movie also looks kind of dull. It's got this dull 90s color palette that I'm not excited about. Everything about this next movie is crazy. There's a couple of those shots in this movie where they're both standing next to each other and the camera does merry-go-round around them. It's like that. It's the whole movie. The second one is nothing but that. But next week is Bad Boys 2.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. To the Center of the Earth. Bad Boys.
Yeah.
I think Bad Boys 2 is essentially the same plot as The Core, right?
Well, the villain apparently in this is the villain in The Core. So
Wait, seriously?
I don't know if there's a villain in The Core, but I did look him up, and he is in The Core, and I can't imagine he is not a villain. I was trying to figure out if there's anything I knew him from, because I was trying to figure out if there's another guy. Like, there's this other random French villain that I've seen in things, but yeah, I don't know. But he was in The Core. Assume it's the guy I think it is. But do you guys want to do some sweet recommendations for the fine people?
I would love to do some recommendations.
Let's do some
I
recommendations.
love the classic segment.
It's a classic segment, and it's, you know what, it's a current and classic. It doesn't get old. The recommendations sometimes do, because every so often we have to go like, did I recommend this before? But I don't think we've done that, at least for me. I'm pretty sure what I'm going to recommend is new.
Sure.
DJ, what do you have to recommend to the fine people?
It is that time of year when all those like good movies are in theaters, and I like to see them. So I have two movies I would like to recommend this week. A definite one and like a maybe one. The first one I'd like to recommend is Little Women.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh no, Diggins. All right, is it
it's
your
cool.
only
I got
one?
a backup.
You sure?
I got a
wanna,
backup.
Okay.
All right, I have to get his backup. So let me think while you do yours.
You know, I want to get out of here. Are you serious?
No, I'm saying I have to scoop Diggins' backup. So you're gonna do yours, and I'm gonna figure out what his backup would have been and scoop it.
All right, you know what? I want to give Diggins Little Women because I want to hear his thoughts. My short ones are I really like it. I like Lady Bird, which was Saoirse Ronan and Greta Gerwig back in 2017. I loved Lady Bird.
17, I think. It was a while ago.
No, it was 18.
Was it 18?
Okay.
Man.
So I love Lady Bird, so I also love this movie, but I'm going to let Diggins take the lion's share of it. The other movie I would like to recommend, and this is like a bit of a softer recommendation, but it's Bombshell.
Oh.
So I will say the best part of the movie is Charlize Theron playing Megyn Kelly, because like she's Megyn Kelly.
Does she do
straight
it
up?
Does she do it in full blackface?
Oh shit!
Or in whiteface? There's a lot of options she has there creatively.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave that.
Come at us, Megan. I'm ready.
So Charlize Theron is phenomenal. She's like, it is Megyn Kelly on the screen. I really think she should win the Oscar. Although I didn't see the Judy Garland movie, so maybe I'm way off. The movie it tries, and I think is successful at just being overly sensational, which is fine. But I think it kind of takes away from what some of the deeper like messages could be. Like it's all top stuff. John Lithgow is also actually really good as Roger Ailes. But like I think what a lot of the movie does, and I think it's supposed to just make you feel kind of very uncomfortable during the movie, just with some of the scenes that you're just like want to shed your own skin off. So if you're not into that, maybe don't see it. But just to see just amazing acting chops from Charlize Theron, probably the best I've seen. I would say it's definitely worth a watch. So yeah, that is my recommendation for this week. That and Little Women, but I'll let Diggins take more of Little Women and whatever his backup is.
Cool. I want to try to scoop Diggins' backup, although I don't think it's this. So 2 things I was not like reintroduced to. I guess one I'm on the cutting edge of, one I'm not. So not on the cutting edge of. New Thor book started. Donny Cates.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, you wish. No, he's been doing a lot of Venom recently. He's writing Thor. It's interesting. It's a first book in a long series, so I'm sure it's going somewhere cool. I do not love... If you look at the cover, that design of Thor is not my favorite, but I think the way Donny Cates wrote the Silver Surfer comic, I'm pretty sure, recently, and I could feel a lot of that here, besides, obviously, the Venom thing. But but I don't know. I like it. I've never been the biggest Thor comic fan, except for... Well, that's not true. I liked what Jason Aaron did with Thor, so when Jason Aaron left, I was like, I don't know. But I think Donny Cates is up to something here, so... It's worth a look. It's got some characters that aren't worth spoiling, but I'd be like, probably have fun. I am going to rec a movie I saw this week, finally. I think it has something to do with the Golden Globes coming out, but the memes just started flowing on Twitter a couple of days ago, and I was like, God damn it, now I got to see this before I get spoiled by those memes. So I watched Parasite. It's great. Parasite's very good.
I need to watch Parasite.
Rules.
Where did you see it? It's nowhere playing near me,
Oh, really? There's a couple of them by me. There's one that's in, like, the center of Philadelphia that I would never... I would never go to, but I'm like, whatever. And there's a couple that are, like, out of town, but it's like, you go to one of those at, like, 1:30 on a Thursday, and they're practically empty, which is my favorite way to watch a movie, unless it's Cats, and then I want to be drinking vodka out of a cat-shaped bowl, singing along with the rest of the people of Canada, I guess. I don't know how that works, but...
Once it gets nominated for an Oscar, it'll be playing in a bunch of theaters.
Oh, my God.
It's not till Monday.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. But it is... I mean, it should be on... I really wish they would release it on VOD. I want Jojo Rabbit too. I missed that in theaters completely.
Yeah.
So
and Ford vs Ferrari, that's like gone.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for.
I like Christian Bale.
I'm gonna wait for them to remake it in Disney because Christian Bale might be the new Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
That people may say, although I think it'd be a
Hell
better.
yeah.
Gore.
Oh, if those cowards finally put Beta Ray Bill in a movie, then I'll be ecstatic.
Diggins, I love you. I've been hearing you say this since like 2011. I feel like this is like the oldest drum you've been beating on.
It's not a joke. I love Beta Ray Bill, and they should put him in a movie.
DJ, do you not love Beta Ray Bill?
Oh, I've just heard Diggins say it only 1,000 times.
I mean,
well, they haven't put Beta Ray Bill in a movie in the last 9 years, have they, DJ?
They can't now because they did Stormbreaker. Those fools. It's not even the right one. Those fools. I have a feeling we'll get him though. I really do think Christian Bale, if there's other characters he's probably better suited for. I just don't, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy, he's going to be covered in CGI ping pong balls? That's not his thing. Make him gore, make him a real skinny god butcher. Do that.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's my take. But really, I want Amy Adams as the Enchantress. If Christian Bale's coming on this movie, him and Amy Adams carpool to whatever shoot they're on, and she just shows up at the movie, or he shows up at the movie, vice versa, and she's my Enchantress. Now, that... Like, obviously, I'll take Charlize. I'll take anybody. But yeah. So, anyway, all I got. Parasite, great. Go see it if you can find it. Otherwise, wait for it or whatever. Thor 1 by Donny Cates in comic stands now, so you can probably find it. What about you, Diggins?
For me, well, as we said before, I saw Little Women. It's a fantastic movie. Greta Gerwig kind of takes the story of the book Little Women and reshapes it. She makes it a non-linear narrative where the two halves of the book are weaved into and out of each other. So you have kind of like a future, all the girls, and then in the past when they're younger.
Right.
And it really kind of reframes the story in interesting ways and allows for a lot of the parallels and reflections to draw attention to them in ways that are interesting. And just besides that, it's such a warm movie. I cried at one point. It was just it's just a good, like, classic movie, which is not that surprising when you consider that Little Women is a classic story. But Greta Gerwig just does such a good job adapting it, and all of the actresses are fantastic. I was surprised the degree to which, just through like makeup and costuming and their acting, they made the past selves seem younger than the present selves. Like most of it is just like the way they carry themselves. The main actresses being Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson, Florence Pugh, and I forget the fourth one.
Oh,
The girl from Scott Pilgrim.
Martin Lawrence. No, wait, which girl? The one
Kim.
The
drummer.
Oh,
Right?
Mike Lowrey. No, who is it? I did know this because I just looked this up the other day. I don't know. I love Florence Pugh. She's my favorite.
Who I'm talking about, right,
Midsummer
Diggins?
movie I hate.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I don't know the name of the
I'll
actress.
Google it. I'll Google it.
Well, it's her. It's Kim from Scott Pilgrim, the drummer.
It is. So here we go. We got
Eliza Scanlon.
That's her.
Eliza Scanlon.
No, wait. It's Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet is also extremely good in this movie.
Is he the boy
really
next door
is.
guy?
Actually,
but-
yes.
He has to be, right? That's the only guy character that I could see that age
Yeah.
guy playing. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I watched a play of it a while back, but I never read it, so I'm just kind of going off of memory.
That's who he is. Like,
I've never read the book either, and when my little sister saw it, she was like, "It's the way they changed the narrative to be nonlinear is interesting," but she was like, "I don't know that it would be interesting to anyone who hasn't read the book." But honestly, like, I have a hard time imagining reading that story linearly now. It works so well the way
agreed.
that they made it.
Right.
even technically, the movie does a very good job of like going past and present. Like some of the scenes when they're younger, like a lot brighter.
Yeah. The scenes in the past are shot very warmly, while the future scenes are more stark.
Yeah.
Which represent, because the future scenes, as you may expect, times are a little harder for everyone, and they're kind of in worse places. So it sets the contrasting mood very well.
Also,
but
fun Streep. We didn't mention that.
Yeah, a good Meryl Streep. Even if you're a little sick of Meryl Streep, it's like it's just a dollop of Streep in this movie, and she's kind of playing against type in a way that's fun.
Does she play a Puerto Rican woman in this one too?
Excuse me?
Oh, you've not seen the movie? She plays a Puerto Rican woman in a movie. It's a lot of business.
I haven't. Okay.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about it off. But it's pretty funny.
My other recommendation is something you almost certainly don't need me to recommend to you at this point, but I just watched it, so I want to recommend it. It's Russian Doll.
Oh, yeah, Russian Doll.
The Netflix show starring Natasha Lyonne, which is kind of Groundhog's Day-esque. A woman wakes up like at her birthday party, her 36th birthday party, goes out at night, gets hit by a car and dies, then wakes up back in the bathroom at her party. And just as she goes, just every time she dies, she wakes up back at this party. And so it's her kind of trying to figure out why this is happening and what's going on. And it's really, really great. It's really funny and sharp and in that kind of like dark, cynical. But as it goes on, it ends up being surprisingly... It's kind of the basic mode for a lot of things this year. If I had to describe the zeitgeist of the 2010s... it would be a cynical sincerity where you have these things that are so cynical and like almost nihilistic in their approach, but through that cynicism, they reach a point of understanding and sincerity and like, getting to a very heartfelt message that is just, it's going to get played out eventually. But for now, I still really enjoy things that manage to pull that off well. And Russian Doll is a really great example of that. So you should, it's a Netflix show, so you can just go on Netflix, check it out. They're doing a season 2. I have absolutely no idea why. I have no idea where you do a season 2 from that ending, but whatever. Even if it's bad, you can still watch season 1 and it's great and have a good time. So, Russian Doll, check that out.
Cool. Next week, Bad Boys
2,
2,
baby.
Bad Boys 2. Or do you guys want to do Little Women instead? Really switch things up? No, just kidding.
Oh my God.
But I think that's going to be great. We'll be doing it next week. If you have any more Ren Sonas, send them in. Also, Little Women Sonas, send those in too. Let us know what character you would be in the Little Women cinematic universe.
Saying which Little Woman you are is a thing.
Which Little Woman are you, Diggins?
Oh, I want to think that I'm Joe, but if I'm being really honest with myself, I'm definitely an Amy.
I'm also an Amy.
Which actress plays Amy?
Florence Pugh.
Is she the one that leaves?
In what sense?
I don't know which actress is. I've seen it. Is she the one that goes with Meryl Streep?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one everybody wants to be, right?
Although
No, everyone wants to
Right,
be
everybody
Joe.
wants to be a Joe, but like reality, she's the one that seems to kind of make it out.
Also, I can see myself being a Meg, a little practical.
I want to be the one
tender
with,
heart.
Yeah, she's the oldest, right?
Yes.
I don't think I've got quite that in me.
That's true.
I'm not that.
Yeah, I'm not that
stable.
mature. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an Amy.
I mean, of us, Nando, I would say you're probably the Joe of this group.
Yeah, that's
probably.
true.
But I find Timothy Chalamet a little handsome. What can I say? You know, he's got a certain boyish charm to him.
Especially in this movie, he cranks the charm way up.
I literally don't think I've ever seen a movie with this kid in it. I don't know who he is.
Really?
Call Me by My Name.
No, I didn't see that. What else is he been in like that? Right?
Lady Bird. He's in Lady Bird.
Didn't
Yeah,
see
he's
Lady,
Lady
Bird.
Bird.
Damn.
I watch Bad Boys instead. That's my life, guys. That's why I'm a Joe, and you guys were all a bunch of Amy's or the other one.
What if he's a secret cameo in Bad Boys for Life?
Holy shit! What if he's the bad guy? He could be that.
shit.
What's his like randomly middle? You know, like not Middle Eastern. What's the other thing? Like Eastern European accent. Can he do one? A real bad one?
Probably. He has such range.
He's
That's all you need.
French, so probably.
Oh, there you go. He could be the son of. Maybe he's the son of the guy from this movie.
Yeah, there we go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
But so next week, Bad Boys 2. Anything to plug, Diggins, DJ? Nothing, anything like that?
Nada.
I don't got nothing going on right now.
Same Z's. Although I'll be putting up a Cats video soon enough, so you guys keep an eye out for that.
I'm excited.
It's pretty funny. But that will not happen before our Bad Boys video. So until our Bad Boys video, or Bad Boys 2 podcast, excuse me. Until next week, I'm at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Woohoo.
Woohoo!
Bye. We love you.